Welcome to the Alex Spanos All-Star Classic pregame show. I'm Nate Polite.
And I'm Alex McClung. Today we're going to be talking about both sides of the team. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about the North team, and
I'm going to be talking about the South.
Let's get started. Well, I want to talk about the North's elusive offense with Rancho Buena Vista's Dorian Richardson at running back, averaging 9 yards per carry with over 2,000 rushing yards this season and 33 touchdowns. This guy practically makes every defense look mediocre. Also, to add to that, quarterback Miles Hastings from San Marcos High School with the cannon of an arm, putting the icing on the cake with over 2,000 passing yards this season and averaging 200 yards per game. It's pretty crazy, Nate. I like this guy because he's a real mobile quarterback and that's deadly outside the pocket. Go ahead.
So on the South offense, they're led by quarterback Puka Stort from Otay Ranch. He's very good. He's able to make plays when they're not really there. He looks a lot like Patrick Mahomes, and I was watching his highlights. He's also going to have Casey Grant for the 6'4" wide receiver from University City who has playmaking ability that's outrageous. He's very hard to bring down. He says he's not the fastest, but his long legs and his big strides, he's able to keep those defenders behind him. That's going to be something that you're going to have to watch out for in this game. Both of them are very good at what they do. Let's talk about the defense now.
This should be a good game. Carson Drake at defensive end for Santa Fe Christian, having a total of 71 tackles this season and four and a half sacks. This man's crazy. Hopefully we can see some great plays by him today, and he'll probably make the game very interesting. Now let's talk about the deep cover. Sorry. Defensive back Thadio Campbell from Central High with 41 tackles and 9 interceptions this season. This guy will definitely be putting on a show for this team.
So on the South defense, I want to look at that linebacking core led by Jared Desmond from Olympian and Eastlake's Joshua McCurdy. These two have combined for 349 tackles this season. Absolutely outrageous. Both of them are big players, both very physical. Joshua McCurdy, he's able to get to that line and read plays like something that I don't really ever see, especially in high school. I was looking at some of his highlights. He bursts through the line very well, and he's able to read plays. He's really good. He's also able to shed blocks very well. Jared Desmond, his counterpart there in the linebacking core, also watch out for him. Not only is he also great at getting tackles, he's also very good in coverage. He interrupts a lot of passes, and he's going to make some noise in the pass defense there for the South team.
Who'd you say was also going to the same college? So this would be a pretty exciting game for them.
Miles Hastings and Casey Granfors. They're both looking at UC Davis right now. So if you're a UC Davis fan, that could be pretty exciting to watch those two work together on the field out there.
Should be very interesting, yeah. Alrighty.
I also actually want to look at the long snapper Peter Bowden for the South team. He's the 7th-ranked long snapper in the country, and he's already committed to Wisconsin, as well as their kicker, Ryan Sanborn, is committed to Stanford. Both of them are very good at their positions. Sanborn was the Special Teams Player of the Year from the PPR, and he is very great at kicking.
He's a big man, too.
We've been watching him nail 30-yarders, 40-yarders out in warm-ups all afternoon.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty fun to watch on the special teams side of things.
So, yeah, overall it should be a great game to watch with many great plays.
Take a look here. We've got Billy Tellis on the offensive line still can. You also have Isaiah Jota. I spoke about Isaiah Jota. That's going to help open lanes for the run game and help protect the passer. So they're both going to be very good at helping that offense from the South team and keeping plays alive and making big plays, as well as some of their cornerbacks. We got some second-team All-CIF corners, and McKinley Eglin Young and Marcus Dean. Both are very good in the secondary. They're going to interrupt some pass plays. It's going to be very interesting, I think.
Yeah, I want to focus on Hampton Hurt, the linebacker from LCC. He's a 2-time ACL. He's injured his ACL twice, and he's recovered both times. And he's also has a community service award, which I think is actually very interesting. The guy's been through a lot, and he's actually he made it today, and he's able to play. So I'm really interested to see what he has to offer.
In this game, we obviously have we have the best players in the entire county, obviously. So that means two high-powered offenses, two really good defenses. So what do you think we're going to see? Do you think we're going to see high point scoring? Do you think it's going to be low? Do you think what do you kind of see from this game?
Well, I kind of see laid-back defense this game, to be honest, Nate, because I see a lot of really, really good players on both offensive sides. So I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game with a lot of great plays.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking there with you. Obviously, there's some different rules for this game. Like no blitzing is one of them. It's an all-star game, so obviously they want to give the fans a bit of an offensive showcase.
So yeah, a lot of passing. Well, for that North team, if Miles Hastings gets out in the open or gets outside the pocket and finds a receiver out deep, it should be one heck of a play. One heck of a play.
And I also spoke with head coach Scott Longerbone from the South team. He says that he thinks that he knows obviously the North, they've got a lot of bigger players. The South are also a very fast team. So he says you can score a lot of points both ways. And he said that turnovers are going to be a big difference, and I think that too. Obviously, with it being a very high offensive game, I think we're going to see turnovers be a major factor. You lose because if we see teams going one touchdown on one drive, another touchdown on the next, and they keep going back and forth, if you throw a pick, that almost takes you out of the game if you can't stop the other offense.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a major factor in today's game.
Yeah. Going past the football, I want to focus on Diego Preciado from Classical Academy. This kid is completely gifted on the field and off with his digital graphics capability. If you haven't seen them, new companies like KOSI have been showing off his work for his digital art on players and other things too, which I think is completely crazy. And yeah.
We also have some great running backs that I don't want to quite look over there. We've got Deuce Reynolds from Kearney, as well as we've got Hassan Spruill from Mar Vista, and we've got Kenneth Watson from Steel Canyon. Those are all great runners. Obviously, behind that offensive line that they're going to have, I think it's going to be absolutely a great game there for the South on offense, especially with those runners.
Yes.
Very dangerous.
Yeah. From the same school as Miles Hastings, Caleb McKinney from San Marcos High School. He was the avocado kicker of the year. He has five field goals, and he's a really good kicker. And he's watching him this pregame was really interesting and really entertaining because he's just bombing 40-yard field goals.
Yeah, I also think special teams could come in a big place in this game because obviously we talked about having two high-powered offenses, and let's say you get inside the 20 and you can't go much further than there. A field goal obviously is better than
many games
not
come
getting
down
anything.
to field goals.
Right. So I think special teams is going to be a big factor, and that could give a team the edge in this game.
That long snapper from the South you were talking about. He's pretty crazy. He's like one of the best in
seventh in the country.
Seventh in the country. Wow. And then we have two amazing kickers on both teams. Every single team is stacked.
Closing thoughts, guys, before we roll to start the broadcast.
Overall, I think it should be a great game for the offense. We should see some great plays. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking going to be an offensive power showcase, and we're going to see a lot of points scored. That's what I got for this game.
Yeah. I'm Alex.
I'm Nate.
This is Orange Nation TV. Thank you for watching this pregame show.
Welcome to the Saga Network.
Whether you want to write or film, the Saga Network has a position for you.
Help produce the weekly Norseman Newsflash as an audio specialist, cameraman, anchor, or editor. Watch content created by students of the Saga Network each week, inside and outside of Valhalla.
Let your voice be heard. Write articles as feature stories, current news, opinions, and sports recaps for the Saga website.
Or join the Orange Nation TV team and live stream sports events and other activities for all things vibrant orange and sparkling white.
Learn to collaborate in a workplace-oriented environment with other students from the Saga Network.
Incoming juniors and seniors, join the Saga Network to gain experience in the industries of journalism, broadcasting, and media production.
We hope to see you next year.
Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to the 29th Annual Alex Spanos Classic, brought to you by Orange Nation TV. My name is John Owens, and I'm joined by Ramon Scott. How are you doing?
Great, John. Great to be here at Douglas Stadium. A great game, a great crowd starting to file in for this All-Star Classic, 29th annual game.
What you're looking at right now is the North team being introduced, and they are running there, getting introduced, each one of those players. Every player is going to get to play today. That's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of hard work. Just to give you a couple heads up about this broadcast, first of all, if we do drop signal, our internet takes a lot of internet to be able to live stream HD quality video. Just go back to our YouTube page and hit refresh, and sometimes a new event will pop up in place of the old one, and we do apologize for that. Other thing I want you to know is this is an entirely student-run production. From the producer to the director to all the camera work to the person running the computer, they're all students. So you're actually participating right now in a classroom, and we hope that we will give you the best production we can, but there could be some hiccups along the way. We're going to just take a step back while they finish the introductions there for the North. And they're, I'm assuming, going to get a shot here or two from the blue of the South. And we'll start our broadcast here shortly with a coin toss. It looks like we have a couple Charger girls here. What a day, Ramon, it's going to be. Let's take a quick second. We'll be right back.
Number 85, defensive back from Vista, Makai Taylor. That's your Northern All-Star, the head coach, Ron Classic from Torrey Pines High School.
Oh, is that all the way down? Yeah.
All right, so now they're going to be switching on over to the blue, the South. And I'm going to tell you what, Ramon, it's hard for me to talk about the South and they're wearing blue. I don't know why. It's just a mental thing. So I'm going to be looking at this piece of paper all day long, trying to make sure I don't screw this up. Once again, just to explain a little bit about what you're seeing there, this is the South being introduced. They got those Charger pants, beautiful Charger pants. They got the blue jerseys that kind of blend into that gold. And then, of course, what's cool about these All-Star games, Ramon, is they get to wear their own helmets.
One thing they said at the dinner on Thursday night, they had a nice dinner down in Chula Vista for all the players. And Coach Shacklet got up and said, well, you know, this year we're going to increase the swag a little bit. And he said, I don't even know what that means. But I think when you look at the tops and the Spanos Classic, and one thing in particular, and I think if we get a shot of it later, John, is the patch that is on the jerseys is the actual patch that the Los Angeles Chargers wear during their games to honor the Spanos family. And, of course, I think that's what makes today's game a little bit special is, you know, this will be the first time that Alex Spanos, he's served as tossed the coin in this game before. He was at this game before he passed away this year, and so I think that's nice, and it's a beautiful patch.
Absolutely, and that's just a great thing. You know, when I told people that we were going to be streaming the Alex Spanos Classic, a lot of people said, well, that game is still going on, you know, because with the Chargers moving, but thank goodness for the family keeping that name on there and supporting these things. So it's a good thing to be here today.
Started out with a $2,000 donation.
Sure. And
the Chargers have kept up the support ever since. Mm-hmm. And it's important moving forward that Alex Spanos' name is associated with this game, and I think that that's going to determine the future of this football game. And I think that you know, going forward, if those forces work together, I'm talking about the San Diego High School Sports Association, which really depends on the Chargers' support to put this game on.
Once again, they're continuing those introductions, and we once again thank you so much for joining us here today. And I'll tell you what, it was fun being around these players the last week or two. Of course, if you want to see some of the player interviews, you can head on over to OrangeNationTV.com or our YouTube channel. You talked about legendary coach John Shacklet. We interviewed him as well. But just fun. And, you know, I think the thing I love most about interviewing these players leading up to this game is these guys, a lot of them played against each other, and now they're playing against each other. And one particular guy, offensive lineman, said, I get to learn from other guys that I admire. And that's a really cool experience.
One of the things I saw at the dinner the other night was the camaraderie amongst the teams. Players from other teams were sitting with each other, and players from other schools were sitting with each other. Kind of had an area where I saw all the kids from the Grossmont schools sitting together, and I saw the North County players sitting together, and we were all sitting around watching the Charger game. Funny thing about it, John, as we watched that watch party, everybody had left, and the Chargers were just making that comeback. They missed a great finish.
Yeah, that is pretty ironic and funny at the same time. We want to give some credit, some shout-outs, and we will a couple times during the broadcast today, but we have about 12 students here today working on this crew, and we'll be giving them some credit, but we fed them today for free thanks to Tony's Giant Pizzeria. That's owned by Saad Mattia. That's on 4973 Diane Avenue in San Diego. That is in the Claremont area, not too far from this stadium. They delivered us some great pizza, and my kids, I think, will work for food, and they are doing that today. So thank you, Saad, and thank you, Tony's Giant Pizzeria. You know, sitting here through these introductions, what's great is, they're literally introducing every player on this team, and, wish they did that more often on regular Friday nights. You got guys who practice super hard during the week, maybe not play a lot, but it's just nice for them to get that attention.
Well, I'm hoping it gives us a little more time for the crowd to start filing in again.
Yeah.
Again, we're so glad that you're joining us on this stream, and I wish you were down here, folks, to support this game. But thanks for joining us here as well.
Well, I got to tell you, and I got to say the traditional Southern California December sportscaster cliche. It's a perfect day for football. I swear to goodness, maybe a high of 70 today, barely touched it, early low 70s. And it's a little gentle breeze coming through here, just a beautiful afternoon here at Mesa College. Teams huddling up there, getting their final motivation. And we should have a live shot on that field if we go to our camera that's on the field. Hopefully we have not lost him. We have actually a wireless HDMI camera on the sideline, and he had a cool shot, but we may have just lost signal. We will get him found again, and there we are. They don't always know they're live down there, so just imagine if you were walking around with a camera not knowing that you're live streaming to a ton of viewers at home. So we'll work on that for you. We do have our two sideline reporters, of course. Nate and Alex did the pregame show, did a wonderful job. Both of them just sophomores, I believe, in high school, just sophomores. A good, bright future. You think about football teams rebuilding, where our program has got a good pipeline, and we should be strong for years to come.
I think you got quite a coup of reporters here. John.
Exactly. So they are out there for the coin toss, and they are bringing out the captains. And if we look at the captains for the North, it looks like Isaac Anderson, a defensive tackle from Mission Hills. And it looks like Miles Hastings, the quarterback from San Marcos. And if we head on over to the blue side, we have, it appears to be Josh McCurdy from Eastlake. And it looks like also Billy Tullis. Now, cool thing, I got to plug Orange Nation TV when I can. Both Billy and Josh were interviewed this week by Orange Nation TV. So if you had a chance, didn't get a chance to see those interviews, you can head on over and do that.
Yeah, Coach Scott Longerbone nominated Tellis as the captain, and well-deserved a 3-year starter, and kind of rewarded his player. A lot of great players on that South team, and Billy's well-deserved to be captain here today.
So I'm going to also put my proud Papa hat on. I am the instructor for Orange Nation TV's Saga Network at Valhalla High School. We started streaming sports in 2012. People literally asked us why we would do that. And these kids worked so hard, and here we are, 2018, almost 2019, and you're getting a wireless HD shot at the coin toss, just like you'd see on Monday night, Saturday night. We don't pretend that my play-by-play will be anywhere near those nights of broadcasting, but these kids, and we let them jump on the mics too, but for the scramble this week, we thought we're doing this mainly for you, Ramon. You're the local genius on high school sports, so we wanted you to have some airtime.
I'm just proud to be on Orange Nation TV with these guys, and I think it's one of my most proud moments just to share the production with these guys, because they do such a great job, and they're learning, and I'm learning from them. And I just want to shout out to Orange Nation, but really only 3 schools. In my mind, I watch all the streams. 3 schools do streams: Valhalla, La Costa Canyon, and Tri-City Christian. And they're great, and they're all great.
Now, the other thing is if you do try to live chat with us on either YouTube or Twitter, I can't tell you that we're going to respond because, unfortunately, my kids are all working hard, and they're the ones that are the experts on things like Twitter and chatting on YouTube. I'm too busy making sure that the feed doesn't die while trying to talk about these athletes. So I'm going to ask you the hardest question I'm going to ask you all day, Ramon. Did you see who won the coin toss?
Well, I didn't because I was enjoying my conversation with you, but the fact that I see that the North All-Stars are lining up at the 40-yard line, I'm thinking, and I see that the officials are running down, I think they're going to end up kicking it. Now, see, they're going to send back to the sidelines.
Well, let's talk real quick about these coaches. Of course, we're going to have the national anthem right here. We'll take a pause for the national anthem, and we'll leave our mics up so you can hear it, and we'll be back with more live coverage here on OrangeNationTV.com.
Alex's wife, Faye, taught everyone around her by example. Guided by faith, she lived her beliefs every day of her life and treated everyone with the dignity and respect they deserve. Faye's name in Greek derives from the Greek word for light, and throughout her life, Faye was light and rock for Alex and her family. Please join us now in a moment of silence for both Alex and Faye Spanos. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
All right, we're that much closer to the kickoff for the 29th Annual Alex Spanos All-Star Classic. So any closing or thoughts before any predictions or anything you want to throw out there, Ramon?
Well, I think Nate and Alex were calling for an offensive shootout, and I'd caution them on that. A lot of times these All-Star games can get a little bit defensive. Okay. But I think in this new era of touch football, a lot of people say, John, it's an All-Star game. Who's going to care? But there's a few guys here who have already committed to their future schools. Many of them do not have anything solidified yet. This is still a chance. It's still a showcase for many of these players because they don't know what they're going to do. They don't know what their football future holds. Now, it's going to start opening up here in a little bit where players are going to start to get a few more offers and decide what they're going to do. But not everybody here has plans yet, and so it's still a very, very important game.
All right, getting ready to kick things off is the Avocado Kicker of the Year from San Marcos, Caleb Mancini, number 3, about ready to get this thing started. And we are underway, the 29th Annual Alex Spanos All-Star Classic. And a little miscommunication, but we are underway. And he'll get it out to about the 17-yard line. And that looked like Johnny Tanner from Rancho Bernardo on the return. And that's where they'll start. And we're just waiting on the edge of our seat as much as anybody at home to see who will be the starters here. Everybody's going to get to play, but don't necessarily – we made some educated guesses on what we would be seeing. And the South will – Puka Stewart will get the start. Of course, had a fabulous career at Otay. And that is a juggling catch. Fantastic reception. And that appears to be Kevin Bateman from Eastlake on the reception. So we'll see where they spot that, and he did pick up about 4 yards on that play. It'll bring 2nd down and 6 for the South. Of course, if you're wondering who's on the South, you have all the East County and South Bay schools plus San Diego City involved for the most part in those squads. And in the North, you have all the North County schools. Puka Stewart, a handoff up the middle. Nice run, and that should be enough for a 1st down. And that was Deuce Reynolds to Kearney, and the Comet getting the 1st down there for the the South.
Yeah, and Isaiah Jada, number 77 of Helix, just pushing guys towards the middle of the line and creating that hole right there.
Now, playing in all-star rules, you can't blitz, you can't do a lot of fancy things on defense. Kind of have to play straight-up defense, and that'll be another handoff to Deuce Reynolds. And interesting, talking to Coach Longerbone this week, he said, hey, we're not as big as they are, but we're faster. And he believed the South had the speed advantage. And we'll see if they can create some space and use that speed. But right now, they're chugging right down the field. They extended a drive, got a 1st down, and now looking at 2nd down and 6.
Well, you asked me earlier about, prediction. I think the North might have a little bit of a talent edge, but that's only because so many of the South players are missing because of the CIF state championships. As many as 7 players that were eligible for the roster are not playing in this game.
Receiver in motion is Bateman, and Bateman around the edge, and he's not going to get a ton on that, maybe a yard, and that'll bring up 3rd down. So your first big down of the Spanos Classic, and we'll see how the South what they pull out of their bag of tricks here. Of course, the South being coached by Steel Canyon's head coach, Scott Longerbone, and his crew. And you have Coach Gladnick from Torrey Pines coaching the North.
You know, Coach Longerbone really exudes what the San Diego High School Sports Association is all about. And he has such a connection to all the great coaches that started that organization. I think he's going to be one to carry the torch in the future.
Stewart will roll here on 3rd down, and he's very elusive. He likes to use his legs. He'll tuck it up and run, and he'll have himself a 1st down, and the South keeps it chugging right along. And they, I think, out of bounds at about the 46-yard line.
Good job by Jacob Sega there to run him down. Stewart, that's what everybody, came to see when they were talking about Puka, is how he can move and get that yardage. He saw that right away.
Now, we are, a lot of the fans on our side, of course, are pulling for the South, and I heard a Go Puka chant. So he's got his fan base here. Puka Stewart, the quarterback from Otay. He'll go back to the ground, and there is a nice stop in the backfield, and we'll let him untangle and find some numbers there. But that looked like Jacob Sega and maybe Luke Kay, a couple of the North players there, bringing Deuce Reynolds down for a loss, and well, maybe not a loss, but just no gain, so that'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
You know, earlier this week you were talking about Longerbone, and there's been talk about how the talent has kind of drifted away from this All-Star game, but they've moved this All-Star game up to 1st, and the talent has kind of come back, and Longerbone said this is some of the best talent he's seen in this game in quite a while.
And Stewart keeps it. Fake that sweep, and you'll get a couple yards to bring up 3rd down, another 3rd down situation. Now, looking at that offensive line for the South, that left-hand side of that offensive line, really the offensive line dominated by the Grossmont district there. We have Steel Canyon, Tullis. You have a Granite Eagle in there, and you have a Highlander.
Yeah.
So you got a number of
John,
East County players in there.
You can recognize Mason Talia out there, I think.
Can't
you?
Think so. Of course.
The Granite Hills Eagle.
He's got probably the best hair of
6'5",
anybody in the team game today. So 3rd down here for Stewart. He's going to tuck it up, run. He's going to let it go. He's got a receiver wide open. That's a completion. He jungles it and is into the end zone. That is a touchdown for the South, and that is Marcus Dean, I believe, if that number is correct on the touchdown, although the helmet doesn't quite match what I see. Did you have was it 21? And I do apologize. That was Casey Granfers, and I do apologize on the touchdown. But one thing we can do is we can take another look at that, so we'll look at this beautiful pass by Puka Stewart to Granfers.
Yeah, Granford's got behind the coverage, and, you know, if you had to pick a handful of stars that are going to lead this game today, I think Granford's, of course, Stewart with a great pass. It was funny because it looked like he might take off running on that one.
Yeah, and here we're going to probably miss the PAT so that you can watch this play.
He's going to let it go. He's got a receiver
Beautiful
wide
pass.
open.
He juggles
That's a
and he keeps
completion.
concentration
He juggles
and takes
it
that
and is into the end zone. That is a
beautiful touchdown to get
for the
things
South,
started.
and
We'll
that
back
is
to the
Marcus
PAT.
Dean.
And the kick
I believe,
is up,
that
and it
number
is
is correct
good.
on the-
And the South strikes first. They're up 7-0. Opening quarter of the Alex Spanos Classic. And that was Ryan Sanborn from Francis Parker who knocked it through. So that was my first major error on the roster, and there will be about 15 more.
Well, you didn't see Casey Granfors, and neither did the North defense.
Yeah, there you go. Good
Granfors got
cover.
behind.
Very nice job.
Granfors got behind. Granfors leaning towards UC Davis. I mean, he's incredibly intelligent. I mean, he had the Ivy League schools talking to him. He had the military academy talking to him as well. But he told me on when we were out at practice at UC Davis. Looks like where he's leaning heavily right now.
I believe we have Thadeo Campbell from Central back to return this, and beautiful jerseys, just a little difficult at times to see the numbers, but I think we have Campbell and catch that other number there. Sanborn kicks it deep into the end zone, and that's where it's going to stay. The other return man was Luke Armstrong out of Carlsbad, but neither one of them is going to get a shot at that. That was a heck of a leg right there.
Well, John Ryan Sanborn, the Stanford commit, 148 points scored this season, 58 of 59 on point after attempts. You know, he's definitely was the best kicker in the section this season. He won the Prep Pigskin Report Special Teams Player of the Year, but I would argue, and Alex and Nate were talking about on the pregame show, that I would argue that the best player, you know, on this field here today, if you go according to their accomplishments and their future, is Peter Bowden, the long snapper of Francis Parker. He's the 6th or 7th rated long snapper in the country.
That's awesome. Miles Hastings, his first snap, and it's a pass complete. That's Kyron Beecham down the sideline, and he's going to get pulled down from behind, not before he gets a ton of yards. Beautiful job there by number 10, Jagger Giles out of Helix. And he had to play from behind, but he did make the tackle.
Jagger ran him down. I couldn't believe that. And Jagger, definitely one of my favorite players on this field, but I think one of everybody's favorite players on this field is Kyron Beecham. Such an exciting player, and I think everyone has touted him in this game to be one of the most explosive players in this game.
Okay, back to the ground here, and he's going to be stopped at the line. That was a nice carry there by Dorian, actually a short carry by Dorian Richardson out of RBV. Now, tell me about this Richardson guy. He's put up ridiculous stats in his time in high school.
Yeah, and he's been doing it for years, and I think, again, he's one of the top players to watch in this game. This year was just a great year for Dorian, 2,600 yards, 33 touchdowns. Of course, everyone remembers his game against Santana, 499 yards in one game and 8 touchdowns. That was last season, but he had some big games this year too.
So 6:40 to go in the opening quarter. Hastings to the air. He's got a receiver out there. And almost a beautiful one-handed grab. Kyron Beecham just couldn't bring it in. The young man out of Oceanside, it was well covered and good defense, especially there at the end. The defender on there, if I look at the jersey, it is McKinley England Young out of Eastlake. So he was with them stride for stride, but is able to tap that ball out.
Looked like the ball was overthrown.
It did.
That's how fast he is.
Yeah.
He ran right under it, almost got one paw on it, and almost tipped or juggled it to himself.
Yeah, fantastic job there defensively and good speed. Of course, it's an all-star game. There's no slouches on either squad, so definitely fun to watch. Miles Hastings rolls to his right. He's got a receiver out there, and it's going to be incomplete. Another good piece of coverage there by Eglin Young. So that's going to bring up the first challenge here for, actually, that was fourth down. This is fourth down, rather. And they're going to have our first punt of the afternoon. Now Beecham is going to be, this is an interesting formation. So Doing something interesting, all-star style. Is he going to rugby it? Is he going to traditional punt?
Are we playing
Is
on
he
a
gonna take off
street
running?
corner here? Are we
I
playing
like
at a
this.
cul-de-sac?
This is a U2 offense right here. This is we'll see what happens. And it's going to be just a traditional punt. I was excited. And he tried to feel it off his hands, and it is recovered by the North. No fair catch. There's your flag, and I'm thinking they're going to get him for interference, but good coverage. And the young marauder, Marcus Dean, probably would have made a different decision if he had an opportunity to do it. So that's going to retain South ball. But, hey, good coverage. And something you talked about at the start of the broadcast is that even though it's an all-star game, for some of these guys it could be the very last time they play, or they're trying to impress somebody, or they're playing just because they love playing. But I think you saw that on that play. You had a guy that probably should not field that, but he wanted to field it. He wanted to make that impact. You had guys flying down the field, and by the way, it's hard to get guys to play special teams, and I'm sure most of these guys do that for their high school anyway, but the point of the matter is that was just good, even though it looked a little disastrous.
Well, I definitely think we're going to see a few guys taking some chances out here, but you do want to impress anybody watching by staying within yourself, focusing on the game itself, and not doing too much, because that's going to be a negative strike against you, actually.
So first down and 10 for the South, and we have Stewart in there again. There'll be a handoff to number 6, and that is Javale Brown. And we do have a quarterback change. It's Nathan Barnett from Steel Canyon.
Yeah, Longerbone said he'd run packages for both guys. That wouldn't be a surprise if they just alternated possessions.
There's a lot of pressure, and he's going to get brought down. And not to be able to give everybody credit on that play, but it looked like Hampton Hurt out of La Costa Canyon was one of the first guys through.
John, Hampton Hurt might be the best story in this entire game. Two-time ACL recovery. He's won many community service awards, including the Semper Fidelis Community Service Award. It's one of the highest honors you can get, actually, for a student in community service. I mean, Hampton Hurt is just a wonderful story, and this game is very important to him.
So 3rd and 17 here. It's a big hole to dig out. We'll see what they can do here. He's going to try to get some with his feet. And he's going to get brought down. Another nice tackle by the North. We want a Torrey Pines athlete. You can tell by his awesome helmet. Love those Torrey Pine helmets. And it is Luke Mikolajewski. I'll tell you what, that was a great tackle.
That was great pronunciation.
It is the best I can do, and if you're a member of his family, I do apologize. We're kind of doing this on the fly. 4:33 to go, opening quarter. It's 7-0 advantage for the South. They are going to get set to punt for the very first time. Of course, they scored on their opening drive. Sanborn back to punt.
A chance to see Sanborn again.
Yep.
Yeah, look, scoot back.
Yeah,
scoot back,
and you can see, and I don't know if you can see that at home, but they just scooted back the return men because of the quality leg. And, of course, those punt formations are special because it's an all-star game. We're going to get a fair catch. Unfortunately, they didn't quite communicate that to each other, but good job for Miles Hastings to be able to bring that in. And I wonder how many returns Hastings gotten in high school. You got an opportunity to do that here today.
Yeah, Miles is known for his passing, of course. First team All-CIF, nearly 2,000 yards this year and 19 touchdowns. I think he does his best work under center.
Sure. Now, you can feel free to correct me as I go because I'm swapping rosters, and I'm having a little bit of difficulty.
Jabbing you in the ribs isn't working, John?
But I'm having a little difficulty seeing the numbers on the white. They're beautiful jerseys, but I think it's time that I come face-to-face that I'm getting older, and I might need to wear some glasses, so I do apologize for those of you at home that are having to hear me stumble through this. That is a completed pass. He's got room up the sideline. It'll be a first down for the North.
Yeah, Dane Olson on the reception there. The San Marcos product, 5'9", 145, got up the sidelines quickly on a quick out.
Not the biggest guy on the field, obviously, at 145, but he was able to scoot down that sideline and get that first down. And the North maybe have something going on their second possession of the afternoon. 3:55 to go, opening quarter. Once again, if you miss anything in this game, you're going to be able to watch it on replay. It'll be up on YouTube shortly after the end of the broadcast. Hastings has some time. He's going to throw underneath, and incomplete pass. Intended receiver was Keelan Dewson out of Oceanside.
Yeah, it was nice coverage right there by Demarion Thornton out of Olympian. 5 career interceptions for Demarion. He's been doing it for the last 2 years for Olympian.
So second down. Once again, we talked about the differences, what both squads have in terms of speed and size. And right now, you're just kind of looking for the North to establish something. You know, they look like they want to throw the ball. 3 receivers to the left of Hastings this time. And they'll throw a little swing pass out to Luke Armstrong. Luke Armstrong breaks the tackle. Luke Armstrong's got a first down and into South territory, where it'll be first down and 10 for the North.
Yeah, smart play right there. Thornton got out there to knock him out of bounds, but another quick out, and I think that attacking the outsides right now is working for the North.
Once again, we thank you so much for watching here today on Orange Nation TV. Got a solid 85 viewers right now. We appreciate you stopping by, and just want to thank these students who gave up their whole afternoon to hang out and actually do classwork right before finals. They're working on the Saturday before finals to do this game. First down and 10 for the North. And they'll go a little end around in here. He comes around. He's got room out front. He's got first down, and there is a flag that comes in, so we'll see how much of this is going to stand. That was Dane Olson, I believe, on the carry for the North. And it could actually, I think that was Luke Armstrong. His jersey rolled up, and I'm going to give myself a mulligan on that one. But there is a flag, and it will be coming back. Now we're going to try to find some time during this game to talk about some of the O-linemen, D-linemen that are out there today, because they don't get a lot of credit, and yet none of this happens without those guys. We got guys on defense, too, that speak with their pads all season. We'll talk a little bit about them. We're also going to have a sideline report here pretty soon. I don't know if we've tested our audio at all ever with them, but we'll see if we can actually do a sideline interview with them. So got a lot coming your way with just 3:14 to go here in the opening quarter. First down. They'll replay the down. That was a close one because I thought that ball was on the ground, but he does uncork it. A lot of hands down the field. They will throw the flag. The defender on that was Marcus Dean. He got that's the thing. You watch enough football, you wonder what is pass interference, what is not. That seemed like a real good call to me, though.
Yeah, he grabbed him as the ball was getting there.
But maybe saved a score, so they'll get some yards back. Back-to-back penalties. Up until this, have been, I guess, as All-Stars games go, been pretty clean to this point. So they'll spot that ball on the 35. When they snap this ball, it'll be 3 minutes to go, opening quarter.
23 all-section players in this game, all San Diego CIF players in this game, John.
Now, we thought we'd see some wing T, and here we go. They're right to the back up the middle, the full back up the middle, and that's Johnny Tanner. Now, why I get excited about that is I was fortunate enough to be an offensive line coach for about 10 years in the wing T offense, and Coach Gladneck over at Torrey Pines said they would see some wing T. I'm going to tell you this, if you know anything about football, wing T is awesome, but it's hard with guys who don't do that style of blocking every week. It's hard to put that into an all-star game. You have guards pulling, there you have those two backs, you have your wing in motion, and if you're a linebacker, you don't know who's got the ball. And it's a good offense to run when you want to run the ball. And I can't say enough because I look at spread every week, and no offense to spread, but I'm kind of an old-school guy.
They've got the right quarterback to do it. They've had to implement some things for some of the other personnel, but Michael Linguadoka is probably the best in the county at it.
Kyron Beecham was the man in motion. He's got the ball, and he'll be around the right-hand side. That'll bring up third down. He's a little short of that first down. So we're getting some different looks from Gladneck's squad, and this is obviously the very best drive of the day for them. And we'll see if that turns into points. And we got our flyover. They just missed the national anthem, but Good, solid flyover. We got a helicopter, a very big one, I think, going over to the hospital. So 3rd down and 3. They'll go back to that wing T set. That fullback right behind the quarterback, and they'll go to him. And he gets up, and that'll be a 1st down. That was a nice run there by Mateo Sinoi out of Valley Center.
Yeah, I mean...
Or Senhui.
Senhui, 3,300 yards in his career, 46 touchdowns, 31 touchdowns this year for the 5'9", 175-pounder out of Valley Center.
So we are going to try at the quarter break to do a sideline report. And I don't know, you can see if they get any audio signal. And if not, we'll just look at them from the sideline. We have a minute to go opening quarter, 7-0. South on top, but North threatening. 1st down and 10 from the 19-yard line. Hastings dumps one into the corner, and that is incomplete. Once again, well defended. And I think that was Beecham was the intended receiver.
Yeah, and give credit on the coverage there to Kearney's Devin Jones, 2nd-team All-CIF selection.
Now, Beecham's a good guy to target. As you said, he was a PPR Offensive Player of the Year, or Play of the Year.
Player of the Year, yeah.
So, obviously, you'd probably be thinking about going back to him as much as you could. So, this is 2nd down. Hastings looking to pass. He's got a receiver open. He had to go up and extend for that. And I'll tell you what, Dane Olson, as 5'9", he used every inch and really got some vertical to get that ball. Maybe we can take another look at that, possibly. If they go right to the snap here, maybe not. But we'll stay live here because it is 3rd down. And they're running players in. Maybe we could have taken another look at that, but that's okay. But that was a heck of a catch there by Olson. And it is 3rd down and 3. It'll be shotgun this time around for Hastings. And they drew them off. So, some smart moves there to get the cheap 5, and it'll be 1st down and 10 for the, just 1st down and goal for the White with 50 seconds left to go open quarter.
John, a final, about an hour ago, Orange Glen lost their bid for a state Division 6A state title to Lincoln High of San Francisco today. Great job, though, by the Patriots this year to get to the state championship at the division level.
And I misspoke. The ball is just outside of the 10, so it will be 1st down and 10 for the North. Hastings pass, wide open receiver, just a little high, couldn't bring it in. He had the position to be able to bring that in, Beecham did, but the ball was just out of reach, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, nice pass breakup right there by Marcus Dean.
2nd and 10 from the 11.
Dean has an offer from BYU.
Dane Olson to the top of your screen. There'll be 3 receivers to the right of Hastings. Beecham to the bottom. They're going to try to isolate over here, but there's pressure around the corner. He'll throw it and just hoped for a reception. Couldn't get it. They'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, the pressure came from the left side, from the right side, from Jagger Giles, and he disrupted that play.
Of course, we interviewed Jagger Giles. You just get the idea that guy loves football. I mean, I know all these guys do, but he just seems like he lives it, eats it, breathes it, the whole 9 yards.
If anything, he was a little bit overlooked, I think, because of his role in the Helix defense. I mean, you're playing linebacker on the same team as Michael Shawcroft, but Jagger Giles was 1st team All-East County.
So 3rd down here. The North trailing 7-0. That clock at 39 seconds. Seemed like this first quarter just flew by, but the last 2 minutes have taken quite some time to complete. And they'll go back underneath. He's got a receiver, 5'4". He'll be down to about the 2-yard line. That was Johnny Tanner out of Rancho Bernardo. and they'll be about 2 yards, maybe a yard and a half short of the goal line. Now, we'll see where they spotted that, because they could get the first down, but they're marking this 4th down and a very short distance for them to get. I'm assuming all-star game, they're going to go for this.
Great play design there. They got it behind Sila logo and almost got enough yardage for the first down, but now they're going to have a moment of contemplation.
All right, so they're going to call timeout and talk it over here. Actually, that is the end of the quarter. So let's see if we can't get our sideline reporters ready to go. And we might need them to chat on their mic a little bit.
After the end of the first quarter, it's currently 7-0. The south sideline is in good spirits after making that stop, forcing a 4th down and 1. We'll see what the north team goes for, whether they go for a field goal or they go for the end zone coming up here in just a few moments. The south right now, after that touchdown pass from Puka Stewart to Casey Granford, like I told you guys, Puka Stewart's got that ability to keep the play alive, and he did that right there on that 3rd and long on the touchdown to Casey Granford. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks a lot there. That was Nate Polite doing a great job, just a sophomore. Wants to go into sports. I think he's got a bright future. I'll tell you what, watching him interview Jada, though, that, of course, the offensive lineman from Helix the other night, Jada's probably 4 times as big as Nate
that's what I was
is.
thinking when I watched that.
Nate got right in there and mixed things up and did a great interview. Nate doing a good job. And I'll tell you what, most of you won't care at home. We've been streaming since 2012. We started with about a $300 camera that was given to us in a 10-year-old Dell. And now we're streaming on a TriCaster and 4 different HD cameras and wireless HD. And that is our first ever sideline report. This is high school kids working hard. I got to tell you what, I'm very proud of them.
Well, and I think it's great that it was Nate, because, in fact, I think, you could end up just working the ticket booth, and Nate can handle the play-by-play, maybe.
Hey, you know what? That's something to shoot for. I'm getting old. All right, so this is the big down here. 4th down. They got about a yard they got to get that first down. Of course, they'd like to get in the end zone. They'll go to the first back through, and I believe they stopped him short. The South standing tall, and that will be a turnover on downs. That play had worked for them in the past. They just could not get that yard, and I don't know if you could make sense of who brought the pressure first, but a lot of credit on the South there. They look big and strong right there.
Yeah, it was Jacob Ray getting there to make the stop. The Helix high linebacker to make the stop early.
So first down here, but more importantly, they kept them off the scoreboard. It remains 7-0 with 11:53 to go in the second quarter.
John, I think one of the reasons why the luster is back on for the Alex Spanos All-Star game is the fact that the San Diego High School Sports Association made the move 3 years ago to take the game out of the middle of summer when all the guys were ready to go to school and everything, and now it's up in January last year, and now it's in December. It's the first All-Star game.
That is a completed pass out here. Number 14 bringing that in. That's Daniel Stokes out of Madison High School.
Yeah, the first team All-CIF performer, 1,150-plus yards of total yards from scrimmage this season. Explosive player for Madison.
It was a nice pass by Barnett, of course, his second series out of Steel Canyon, running this offense. Of course, we saw Puka Stewart lead them down the field for a touchdown. That's the difference in the game, 7-0.
Yeah, Barnett's got his running back in there, Kenneth Watson, also just to his right.
And there's a confusion, but he comes out okay, and he'll get a couple of yards. You had the sweep action. You had a little misdirection and maybe somebody running the wrong way, but he did a smart thing. He didn't get hurt, and he was able to advance the ball.
Yeah, one of the things that happens in all-star games, confusion on the play, but if you're going to have someone take a broken play and make something of it, Nathan Barnett, you're a man to do it. The senior only played 1 year at Steel Canyon. He was a transfer in from, played at Immaculata High School in New Jersey, and he came to Steel Canyon this year after researching it himself, what school he wanted to go to when he moved to California to be with his dad.
Motion this time they will. Go back to the young man out of Madison. That's Daniel Stokes, and he should have a first down, and he does for the South.
Yeah, Fama Meredith, the big 6'3", 330-pounder out there leading the way, number 76 for the South.
So at halftime, so you can be prepared if you need to go grab some food or whatever you need to do, we will go to some student production, some rolling videos for a few moments to catch our breaths, make sure everything's working well, and then we'll come back and we'll tell you what you may have missed or give you some insight. That'll be our halftime show, and that is a completed pass. He had to reach out there for it. Casey Granfer showing what everybody saw all year, by the way. A nice catch, and it's another first down.
I went to a couple of UC games this year. He might have been my favorite receiver to watch this year, and that was one example of what he can do. He's also spectacular at the toe tap.
Yeah. And talking to him, too, he's pretty humble because he talked about having to be very good at certain things because, in his words, he said he wasn't as swift as he'd like to be. He'll go to the ground.
That's Watson.
And that will be he actually kept it going, kept those feet turning, and he got a couple yards. It looked like he wasn't going to get anything. Nice job there by Kenneth Watson out of Steele Canyon.
Yeah, he was a first-team All-East County performer. Of course, he played on that 2017 state title team that Steele Canyon won last year.
So second down after a very hard effort there to get significant yards on second down, or first down rather. Two backs in the backfield with Barnett. Looks like they're bringing some outside pressure, and they'll swing it out, and that's Javelle Brown out of Mira Mesa, and Javelle Brown will be very close, just a little bit short. We'll see where the final spot is. They spotted it right on the chain, and that is enough for a first down. It's kind of one of those where the official takes a step. And if you're a fan of the South, they took a step in the right
keep
direction.
Keep this ball moving.
So we're under 10. We're actually 9:38 to go here in the second quarter. South putting another nice drive together, and possibly here they had to dig out of their own end zone, and they're looking pretty sharp. And Watson will get powered under by that stout North defense, and they're going to give him about 1.5 yards on that carry, bring up second down.
Inside handoff, Kenneth Watson. Quinn Rolfe, Butters Vidal in on the tackle.
And also at halftime, we're going to be talking to one of our leaders of Saga Network, Natalie Siliason. We'll be talking about all the amazing things that go on at Saga Network, and he's off to the races, and that'll be a first down. He just tucked up and ran, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure that was designed, or he just really was quick thinking, but Nathan Barnett showing his legs, and that's another first down.
Yeah, it seemed like a straight keeper from Nathan there.
So, one of the things talking with the coaches is that most offenses run similar things, and so it wasn't so much that they have a big, 150-play catalog here. But when you have athletic quarterbacks, everything looks pretty good. And he just slipped. He broke off that tackle, Kenneth Watson did, but then he just slipped and fell. Very short gain, maybe 1 yard or less, and it'll bring up second down.
Hurt got credit for the tackle, but I think that Hunter Friedolf's got in there and might have grabbed his shoestring.
Oh, he almost went down like I thought he might have got hurt, but I think when he hit the ground, was frustrated with himself that he just slipped or tripped up like he said. So second down. We've seen two quarterbacks for the South. We've only seen one quarterback for the North. We'll see in that next possession if the North switches things up. I know if they get anywhere near close to a field goal range, we're probably going to see a field goal kick since they're uncontested. And the underneath pass. He does bring it in, Granfers did, but once again, there must be a slick spot in that turf right there because that's two guys on almost the same spot.
It was an interesting play design.
Yeah.
I think if it would have worked, it would have looked really neat. But Granfors lost his footing.
So they're going the wrong direction here on third down.
Everyone talked. One of the big talking points of this game was this North defensive line. Everybody wanted to see what it would be like to have Isaac Anderson and Quinn Rolfe, Mission Hills and San Marcos respectively, on the same defensive line.
So third down. Pressure from the outside, and they're going to get to him. That is a big stop And I'll tell you what, hats off to Leo Spadell and company. He had a lot of help there too. Quinn Roth, as you just mentioned, getting there, and they put a hurt in there, and that'll bring up 4th down.
A lot of pursuit from Spidell out of Torrey Pines, 5'10", 255-pounder.
4th and 21.
So 4th down. Once again, the all-star formation for the punt. I'm assuming that they can't advance this. Isn't that part of the rules? Probably. Uncontested punt, you can't run, I'm guessing. I don't know. And that is a proper way to do a fair catch. And I think that was Campbell that brought that in.
The 29th Alex Spanos Classic, the longest running high school football all-star game in California, 29 years. This game is made possible by the longtime generosity of the Spanos family and the dedicated work of the San Diego High School Sports Association. It's the only game where the players are nominated and selected to play in the game by coaches and the San Diego High School Sports Association. So,
and when that's a group you want making those selections, I can tell you that. Pass across the middle and almost intercepted. He kind of looked up, and I tell you, he looked up, and there was the ball. That was Bryce Reipel out of Christian.
Yeah, Bryce Reipel. I just had a tremendous time with him this year at Christian because they had such a successful season. He was a first-team All-East County at tight end. Get this, John, 84 receptions in his career, 200 tackles, and 9 touchdowns. And my favorite moment of the season was when he caught the game-tying touchdown against Morris in the playoffs while falling on his backside in the back of the end zone.
Oh, that's
Great
impressive. That is impressive. Hastings with pressure, and he's going to put his head down. He's going to get brought down. There is a flag, and the ball came out as well. A whole lot going on that play. I don't know if we can get another look at that just to see what all occurred.
I'm going to start order up a replay on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now we've switched producer directors. We had Trevor Showers there for quite some time, and he's going to take a little break now. We have Jonathan producing and directing, and we may not get a replay on that, but we will get more replays. This is a little bit of a learning curve when you switch over onto the computer. All right, so that was a turnover. Ramon, did you see any other explanation that I missed? It was a turnover.
Yeah.
We wanted to see that replay,
right
but that's
back.
okay. That's okay. That ball came out. And so big opportunity here for the South. The North, of course, trailing 7-0, 5:52 second quarter. They got to keep the South from scoring. And Puka Stewart. Puka Stewart is back in at quarterback. And this is that elusiveness, and he does complete the pass. There is a flag on the field. But once again, that might be something that you'd want to watch again, even though this play will not stand. Just that kind of backyard football, that just athleticism that he possesses, fun on that play.
He got it out there to Deuce Reynolds, and Deuce almost did his thing too.
And that will
But
come
they're gonna mark
back.
this one up, yeah.
That's the other thing, though, too, and I know it's been talked about before, but if you're an offensive lineman and you have an indication of pass blocking and you kind of know what's going on, and then all of a sudden your quarterback's moving all around, it's hard for you to pivot and do the things you need to do and not hold on to somebody.
I don't want to lump him in, but I mean, a play like that kind of reminds me of the type of play that Patrick Mahomes is making.
Sure,
right
absolutely.
Now. You're getting tackled and you're slinging it out
Yeah.
there. You got to be careful.
Absolutely. It's one of those things you look smart when it works and you don't when it doesn't. They'll get some of those yards back. That's Deuce Reynolds, another nice carry for the Kearney product.
Hampton Hurt made the stop again.
Clock under 5 now here in the second quarter. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to struggle every time I say Kearney. Being from the Midwest, Nebraska, the same spelling, it's pronounced Kearney. So I have to translate back from Midwest speak. Second down, Puka Stewart rolls to his right, and he scans. There's that pressure, and that looked like Roth got in there, but he got out of that tackle. He's going to throw it. He's got a receiver. It's tipped and intercepted and in and out of his hands and incomplete. Now, this is the all-star style football I thought we might see a little bit today. A little crazy shenanigans, but that'll bring up third down.
Hey, Joseph Durango almost caught a deflected pass right there, and he's coming up to visit us all the way from Central High to play in this game today. Had 3 interceptions this season, and he almost caught that deflected ball. But sure, we're talking about the elusiveness of Stewart, but the defensive line right now of the North is really getting to him, and it's harder. When you're dealing with an all-star defensive unit, it's tough to get away.
So third down and forever, and Puka Stewart trying to get some of those yards back, and another big play. Leo Spadell, another big play for him, and he's showing off the things that he's done all season long.
And you can see it coming right now, and the South is going to have to regroup that offensive line a little bit.
Well, hats off to the North.
Great job by the North right now.
We're given a tough break on that turnover, and all they did was force the South to lose yardage.
Yeah. 4th and 22.
Yeah, and here we go. We thought we'd see this at almost any part of the field, and this is awesome. We're going to see a very long kick. I'm going to defer to you. I think you're better at math than me, but other than just saying this is a super long kick.
Right. I mean, we're looking at a 58-yarder,
exactly.
If anybody can make it here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is no joke, folks. This is not a gimmick attempt here by Ryan Sanborn.
As you mentioned, going to Stanford. And they can't really contest it, and look at that. Big leg. It's on its way, and it's just a little short.
I don't think he got the height that he wanted.
It didn't, but
no,
man.
He knew he had to go for distance, and I think it prevented him from getting the height. I mean, that's the type of kicker he is. He can design his kicks the way he needs them.
Sure.
He knew he was going to need velocity on that kick. We saw a low-line drive, spinning, headed right between the uprights, but short.
Just short. So, here comes the North, and they've sustained the drive here and there, but overall they haven't quite found what they are hoping to do, and that's put a ball in the end zone.
Probably going to have a chance to put one drive together here. And no need to rush. 3:23 to go in the first half.
And Miles Hastings will remain in at quarterback. Maybe his last drive if they switch quarterbacks, and that is a completed pass out to Dane Olson. Dane Olson pushed out, but not before he gets to the 25-yard line. He'll pick up 5 yards on the play. It'll bring up second down.
You know, the Sports Association ended up getting more than 50% of the players that they invited to this All-Star contest. And there are several All-Star games now. Of course, the San Diego Friday Night Lights game is next week. The McCossie Bowl when San Diego takes on a team from Los Angeles. But this is still the granddaddy of them all.
So 3 receivers to the top of your screen. And they'll go back to the run. He's got a gap up the middle, and that should be enough for a first down.
Dorian Richardson up the middle again.
Maybe a little momentum now, and brought by that big defensive stance.
Yeah, it's the first time we've got to call Josh McCurdy's name, the linebacker out of Eastlake, first team All-CIF, and the Prep Pigskin reports Defensive Player of the Year. He had 193 tackles this season and 9 sacks. And he's definitely one of the stars of the county this year, Josh McCurdy of Eastlake High School.
And he gives a very intense interview. He was fired up in that interview.
He was ready to play on Wednesday night.
He was ready to play. So first down for the North. Another pass attempt for Hastings. Got pressure up the middle. He avoids it. Got a guy, and that's going to be almost picked off. Tell you what, Kyron Beecham had to play defense on that because, like I said, that easily could have been picked off.
Yeah, Demarion Thornton, Olympian, right there again, having a great game so far. He's been a key to really slowing Beecham so far. I mean, Beecham has done a little bit of damage, but really hasn't gotten loose. They've expected Beecham to play many roles in this game.
Miles Haston will do and had a defender there to read that play, but he was able to tuck it up. That's Luke Armstrong, and he'll get a fair amount of yardage there. But the defense was in the right spot. Unfortunately, couldn't make the play.
Yeah, Jared Desmond of Olympian had him wrapped up in the backfield.
There is a flag. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Around him.
They tried that same play a little bit earlier. It's a good play to come back to because, once again, you're watching that flow, and then that guy comes back the other way, and you're not ready. But they had their defense in the right spot. But there is a flag. So, once again, going the wrong direction is the North. Bring up 2nd down and 20. We're looking at 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in the second quarter. Of course, if you joined us late, the South scored on their very first drive. Beautiful pass by Puka Stewart. And it's been all defense, I guess, for lack of a better term since. Pressure right up the middle's got a receiver and just missed. I don't know if one thing interesting, and that was the intended receiver there was Dylan York out of Oceanside. And I don't know. You're getting those weird shadows on the field, and you can probably maybe see it at home. And that almost looked like either, it's an all-star game, and what his route is. Probably not very sophisticated route, but he turned around like he couldn't find the ball, and then it was like he saw it at the last minute. And I'm going to try to give the kid a break. There is some odd shadows. I don't know if that ball comes in and out of the sun at that level. Taking an educated guess.
Let's give some credit to defensive back Luciano Estopier from Sweetwater High School, and he's very proud to be the only Red Devil in this game.
Yeah, he should be. So 3rd down. What was looking like a promising drive is turned a little negative. We'll see what they can do on 3rd down. Pass out to Dane Olson. Dane Olson made some moves to get some yards. We'll get a late flag, and we'll see. And this is very late. This is almost in the area of like a personal foul, little extracurricular type.
Yeah, Stopier and Jacob Ray of Helix were in there to make the stop.
And it is a block in the back. It'll be declined, of course. It'll be 4th down. And it was right at the end of the play, too. The good news is the guy who committed the foul actually helped the guy get back up. So good sportsmanship out there.
Yeah, one of the things on Thursday that Coach Shack joked about, he said, you know what, you want to give that guy, everybody go out there and play fair and play hard, of course. It's an all-star game. He said, I want you to knock that guy over, but I want you to help him back up so you can knock him down again.
We're going to get a timeout here, and the South has an opportunity here. Have about a minute and a half when they get the ball back. I mean, it's hard to run the cliched 2-minute offense when you don't know all the players' names probably on your squad. But, we'll see what they can draw up here with under 2 minutes.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with two quarterbacks primarily known for being sort of read quarterbacks that are not going to throw the ball very far down the field at one time. But they're going to have to – they might want to air it out a little bit to see if they want to put some points on the board. It's an all-star game. I don't think they're going to be taking a knee here anytime soon.
No, that's true.
Yeah, the North won last year, I want to say last year, John. The game was actually this year.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a few months ago, right?
It was in January. It was in January. The last 2 years, they've moved it up in the calendar. Last year, the North won 23-17. In 2017, the North won 47-30, and that was the first time the game was in January.
Beecham back for an attempt to return here. And they'll kick away from, actually, to Beecham. Beecham will have it at the 30. And good defense, but can't – I'll tell you what, it was initial contact by Jacob Ray. Excuse me, I take that back. Initial contact by Luke Armstrong, but couldn't wrap him up. And I flipped my page wrong, and you can elbow me next time when I have the wrong roster out. So the South will get a shot here with a 1:26 to go, leading by 7. Disaster can also happen in this situation, too.
Especially the way we've seen the North pursuing those quarterbacks right now. Might be okay just to run this clock out and,
Barnett will be out there
running plays, but I don't know if they're going to do that. I think they want to try to make something happen. This is the same formation we've seen almost every time with Barnett in the line.
Absolutely. Barnett will throw over the middle. He's got a man, Devin Jones, cross the 50. Makes a spin move, and he's going to be finally brought down, and he lost control of the ball, and they are going to give it to the North. Now, can we get another look at that play, please? So, nice run, or catch and run by Devin Jones, but in the end, he lost the handle.
Johnny Tanner came up with it, I believe.
See if we got that replay. All right. We'll go back to live here. It looks like we did not get that replay.
Now it's a little bit different story with the North with the ball with just a minute left from midfield. You know, especially when you got Hastings in there.
So see what they can do here. A lot of pressure coming, and he will complete that pass.
I'd guess
nice
so.
job there, exactly, by Kyron Beecham. So 106, and I believe the North has at least one timeout. I think actually 2 timeouts. Squinting to see, and I think it's 2 timeouts. And he wasn't out of bounds, so they may have called one right here. So with 102, they get 7 or 6 yards rather on that play. So far, are you cautioning our 2 young men who did the pregame about this being a high-scoring affair? You're looking pretty smart.
Now, just see a lot of all-star games, but look at those scores from the last couple of years. They were high scores, and that doesn't mean that this game isn't going to change. The complexion of this game isn't going to change in the second half. Even here, they can make adjustments, and often in all-star games, high halftime adjustments are quite successful. But, yeah, so far we're seeing the defense. And maybe not unexpected, considering, like I said, I mean, the offense on the South, I mentioned that maybe the North has a little bit more talent. And, again, that's just because of the pool that they drew from. Like I said, the South had a reduced pool because of some of the players being away. But I think that has limited the South's ability to be vertical.
So, North, second down. For them, of course, North in the white and Charger blue. They look kind of like a blue cummerbund on those jerseys. Hastings uncorks one and could have been picked off. He had 2 receivers running in close vicinity, so only one guy had to defend him, but just couldn't pull it in. And was that Devin Jones?
Yeah, it looked like the pass was intended for Jones. It was a poorly thrown ball by Miles, and he'd like to have it
That
back.
would have been a good bounce back for Devin Jones if he could have brought that one in.
You know, he actually had his man if he could have lifted the ball a little bit, threw it a little bit higher in the air, and had him go for a jump ball with him. But he was trying to stretch the field a little bit, and it was not a well-thrown ball by Miles.
So under a minute, 56 seconds to go. Hastings, the North, scoreless to this point. Pressure up the middle. Hastings is able to get through it. And beautiful catch under pressure. Nice job there by Jadon Washington. And that will be a first down. And I'll tell you what, he's not a little guy, but very powerful.
Yeah, Washington, the 6'3", 245-pounder out of Mission Hills High School. And I think this is where Hastings is at his best right now.
So the North, the clock ticking under 33. He got a lot of pressure coming up the middle. He just gets rid of it, and that's, we'll see. He got coaching hands going up in the air. Was there a receiver in the area? Those kinds of things. But the clock will stop with 28 seconds. That pressure's coming pretty fast.
Yeah, that was Garrett Rosenthal of Christian High School, the first team All-Eastern Leaguer, 88 tackles and 4 sacks this season. You know, the interesting thing about Hastings and his relationship, he started his career at Torrey Pines.
Okay. So his
before
old coach
he
coaching.
went over to San Marcos. Yeah, Coach Gladnick kind of was giving him a little bit of business at the luncheon, but also telling him how proud he was.
Second down now for the North. Another completed pass to Washington. But he stays in bounds, and he only gets about a yard or so on that. The downs almost don't matter. That time does, 22.5. They will call their last timeout, what I believe to be their last timeout. I do not have the official timeout count. Next year, if we do this broadcast, we're going to have a stat guy.
No, Orange Nation TV, we're going to have these little dots on the bottom of the score
we can do that.
board
we
down here.
We have a clock, but unfortunately, we're just happy to have a continuous stream that you're able to watch at home. So we can't get greedy. Once again, Ramon, where we started, it was standard def streaming, and you literally looked like a pixelated blur, but it was better than nothing.
I probably watched it.
Yeah,
I've watched every Orange Nation football broadcast twice, at least. Okay.
Well, I feel sorry for you because sometimes we didn't always do the best job, but we're learning. We're learning. Actually, the kids always do well. It's me end up messing something up.
John, if I could just take a moment, I want to recognize a former star of this game from Helix High School, Kenny Keys, who we lost this year back in July. Helix, great defensive back. He was a star in this game back in 2011, the South Defensive Player of the Game, Kenny Keys.
Thanks for bringing that up. That is good information. And you just think about all the people that played this. On third down, they'll go underneath, and there's a flag. And he'll be short of the first down. Of course, the clock's going to stop while they figure out what this flag was. And I think we've had probably double digits now, flags, if you look at both teams collectively. It's gotten a little ugly in some places.
Yeah, and it's no doubt it's when we're seeing more of the hurry up.
Yeah, but it hasn't been the procedural stuff. See, I thought we'd see more jumping and some more false snaps and things like that. It's been the holds, and this will be a hold. Actually, look like face mask on the defense, so this will be a big turn of events as the North will continue their drive. That clock at 15 seconds. Now, at some point, we're going to have to get a nice shot of that trophy that these two teams are playing for. It's on our sideline, so we should be able to get a nice shot of that at some point. Right down there, big, beautiful trophy. So that ball is spotted on the 11.5-yard lines, and they did not wind the clock, but we rolled a little timeout. We get a timeout here by the North because they were going to wind that clock, and they did. So now we're down to 12.7. They called that timeout, so they did have one in their pocket that I was not aware of. So we will at least get one, if not two plays, depending on what happens here in the next few moments.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to take one shot. In high school, I will say it's a little bit different. It just seems to take another extra second to formulate a play compared to
probably add another second for an all-star game.
College and pro, and so we may get a chance to see another great kicker, Caleb Mancini, the Avocado League kicker of the year, made 5 field goals this year, but
all right, there it is. There's a nice look at that trophy. That's a beautiful trophy. Of course, you have the scores over the years written at the bottom, and if you could see the whole thing, you would see, I believe, a football, golden football at the top, and oh, there it is. That's good teaching right there because he is giving you a nice slow pan and then widening out to show you that trophy, and he has no idea I'm even talking about that shot right now. Beautiful shot there. Alex McClung on the camera. You might have remembered him from the pregame. Good work there on the sideline. It's an all-star game for us, too. We got guys working hard and gals here on OrangeNationTV.com. So we have first down and 10. And they will throw. And incomplete. And we sort that one out, but well defended there by Marcus Dean.
Yeah, give credit on the breakup to Marcus Dean. He's also having an outstanding game today. I'd say a couple of defenders for the South playing great today, and Dean's one of them. Dean and Thornton really have been standouts so far defensively for the South.
Well, and he's a physical corner, and probably somebody on the other side probably wish there had been a flag or something there. But I really like that physical play out of him, especially in that spot. So second
one
down.
More shot. You got to get in the end zone though. You don't have time.
8.9 seconds. It took about 3 seconds that last play. They will go to the end zone. He's got a man out there leaping. Attempt incomplete, and that was Dane Olson, who jumped up and tried to bring that one, and he just couldn't do it. So there's 4 seconds left, and I think they're going to kick the field goal here.
Nice shot at a fade route. He definitely had a chance. Maybe, I don't think it was deflected, but maybe the hand got in the way of the eyes, I think, there, and made it a very difficult catch. And again, you're looking, you talk about it's not in the sun, but when you're looking at the backdrop, it's bright because you're looking up.
Sure.
And you're looking right into those stands.
So here comes the field goal unit. Holding right now is Linguindaka out of Santa Fe Christian. Caleb Mancini, and the kick is up. And it is good, and it is 7-3, and that ends our opening half. The North gets on the board. The South holds the advantage. We will take a quick break. We'll get back to some student production, and we'll have lots of good stuff for you just right around the corner.
Okay. Welcome to the Alex Spanos All-Star Classic Halftime Report. I'm Nate Polite.
And I'm Alex McClung.
And so far in this game, we only had one score. It's currently 2 scores. Just now there was the field goal at 7-3. And it was early in the game, in the start of the fourth quarter, or the start of the first quarter, pardon. Third and long play. And then just now we saw the North field goal. So far this game, and it's been more of a defensive power struggle than we thought it was going to be. The South, they've really stepped up against the North in the red zone and in the field as well.
Yeah, back to what you said about the scoring, we really had some high expectations about this game, but come to show that the defense has really stepped in the past 2 quarters with many pass deflections on the North team, and yeah, it's been a really defensive game.
And also a lot of turnovers we've had. Yeah. We've had a couple fumbles here in this quarter, and they've really changed momentum. After the punt right here, it looked like the South was going to at least be able to come down and get a field goal, but they fumbled on the first play, giving really good field position to the North team.
Yep.
We also saw that 59-yard attempt. It was 59-57-ish from the kicker, Ryan Sanborn.
Soft team, yep.
He almost made that.
Yeah, it was this close. It was this close.
He's absolutely great at kicking. It's a pleasure to watch him. And that's all we have. Back up to John and Ramon in the booth.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So I am Trevor Showers.
And I'm Natalie Siliuson.
And we are both part of the Saga Network and the Orange Nation TV program at our school.
We are both seniors, and we've been in this program for almost 2 years now, or I guess you could say like a semester and a year, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's, I'm trying
This is currently our 2nd year. So we do a lot of streaming in the program, and we were asked to do this one.
This happens to be one of them.
This happens to be one of them. There are only a few schools that do it. I think it's 4 total in San Diego County.
But we are the best.
Yeah, I think we're actually the oldest in the county.
Also, I think the highest in tech as well.
Yeah, we recently got a grant, a $36,000 grant from the Jimmy Johnson Foundation. And we thank them very much for that very generous donation.
We got a lot of awesome equipment from it, and me being in the program and having a lot of connections with my family, I'm allowed to bring in a lot of soundboards and cameras and cords and stuff like that, and I really feel involved. So.
Recently we've been doing a lot of projects, like we have a news flash every week that comes up on Wednesday.
I do take care of those.
Yeah, both of us do those a lot. So for those, we basically go over the events that's happening that week, and we try to be topical. We try to make it fun to boost viewership. Alongside that, we do movies. We do a lot of short films, documentaries, We do voiceover work. Some students actually
Paid
have
for
gotten
it.
hired by different companies. They just apply, and then they end up getting hired by different companies.
Yeah, I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I
it
wish I
is
could
really
do that.
awesome. Recently, we've been taking up on a podcast that we'll be releasing for the school soon.
Yes.
Yeah, the Orange Nation cast.
If I can do a little self-promo. I mean, we don't really have a YouTube up so far, but we are going to be making one outside of our school, I guess, with a couple of friends called the Comedic Condiments.
Yeah, so yeah,
I
that's
am
our
ketchup.
little theme. I guess I'm mustard.
Yeah, I thought you said you're honey
Or,
mustard.
you know, same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, so
Can you hear the music in the background? You probably can. I was over here sitting in the corner when watching all of this, and it looks like people were getting pretty intense and screaming even through my headphones.
yeah. Yeah, no, we were getting really interesting plays out here by the different teams, the North and the South.
How long does halftime usually last for? Like, I don't know. What?
Welcome to the Saga Network.
Whether you want to write or film, the Saga Network has a position for you.
Help produce the weekly Norseman Newsflash as an audio specialist, cameraman, anchor, or editor. Watch content created by students of the Saga Network each week, inside and outside of Valhalla.
Let your voice be heard. Write articles as feature stories, current news, opinions, and sports recaps for the Saga website.
Or join the Orange Nation TV team and live stream sports events and other activities for all things vibrant orange and sparkling white.
Learn to collaborate in a workplace-oriented environment with other students from the Saga Network.
Incoming juniors and seniors, join the Saga Network to gain experience in the industries of journalism, broadcasting, and media production.
We hope to see you next year.
All right, we're about ready to start the second half. And Ramon, got any stats or anything you want to break down going into the second half?
I think the stats might surprise you a little bit so far. I mean, we know Miles Hastings is taken to the air quite a bit. He's 11 of 24 for 100 yards exactly in the first half, but the North has rushed for just 22 yards. The South has rushed for only 32 yards. But get this, the combination of Puka Stewart and Nathan Barnett, this might surprise you, and it surprised me. They're a combined 6 of 7 passing for 88 yards.
And not supposed to be, I mean, not that they can't throw, but I mean, that was maybe not what they're billed as. What was interesting about that first half is we had literally a bookend scoring. We had first drive for the South, a touchdown, then nothing, and then we had that end of that first half. We get the field goal right before the half, and that's why we get 7-3 South on top.
I've enjoyed it so far. I've enjoyed the defense. I'm not too happy with the rash of penalties near the end of the first half there, but I do hope that these offenses will pick it up.
All right, we're about ready to tee things up. Of course, you're going to have Ryan Sanborn kicking off, and I'm pretty solid guess that this ball's going to go into the end zone. He's has a big leg, and we've seen ample evidence of that already this afternoon.
Might kick it through the uprights. After what we saw, we had some halftime discussions with John Maffey and Jim Lindgren of the UT, and I think the thing that stood out the most for them was that field goal attempt by Sanborn. And even though it was no good, it might have been one of the highlights of the first half because he almost made a 58-yarder.
Well, I want to send a shout-out to 3 unseen producers here today. My kids, Mitchell, Jack, and Cora. And of course, my wife, Lindsay. Thanks for watching and supporting OrangeNationTV.com. And we're underway here in the second half. And this one is able to be returned. Good solid run here so far. Campbell out across the 24, 23. Actually got across almost to the 30-yard line, depending on where they spot that. And good start here, possibly, for the North.
Tackle made by Deuce Reynolds there. Yeah, and thank you, John, for inviting me to join your staff today at Orange Nation TV. I feel like I'm part of Orange Nation TV. We've worked together. We did a whole season of podcasts together, and so excited to be working with these kids. It just gives me great pride for someone like me to work with these kids. They're doing their curriculum here. Here's a straight handoff up the middle, gain of 2. Run was by Luke Armstrong. Mount Miguel's Manu Maosi made the stop, the big man from the Matadors. Here's a handoff now up the middle. Short gain, met by a host of South defenders, led by number 60 there of Granite Hills, Noah Medeiros.
So we have a quarterback change. I'm sure you already talked about that. Did you talk about that?
I didn't, because I didn't expect to be doing any play-by-play, but
Sorry,
hey, you're an instructor and a teacher.
Yeah, I was teaching, so I did say at the top of the broadcast,
you're awesome, Mr. Owens.
You're literally watching a classroom project unfold.
I got distracted by it.
They're back to the wing tee, and they'll go around the left-hand side. This is Evan Galuzzi, the running back out of Torrey Pines. It'll be real close to a first down. We'll see if they give it to him.
It was great pursuit there by McCurdy. I think
looks like Josh McCurdy is pretty pumped up. He says they're short. I mean, you know what? I like Josh McCurdy's so fun to watch. He's just an absolute pit bull out there on defense. Number 23, be watching him for the South.
I think there's a reason why he's one of the most popular players in the county this year.
So fourth down here. Trying to get him to move, and I think they did get some movement. That should be a first down for the North. Now, talking about that new quarterback in there, we have Michael Lingwandaka out of Santa Fe Christian.
Yeah, it's still second team all CIF, wing T quarterback, also plays great defensive back. I mentioned earlier, we were talking about live webcasts. I said Tri-City Christian. Of course, it's Santa Fe Christian that runs the great webcast, and you see him several times a year.
So we're going to get a stop in the action. It's official time. They're going to chat things over. And actually, it looked like that, and I do apologize for getting distracted there a little bit, but I think that was actually on the north on that penalty, because looking where they moved the ball. Would you concur, Ramon, or am I making things up?
I think they're still giving him an option on whether they're going to
walk it off or
accept it.
There's a lot going on up here. We got batteries dying. We got text messages.
He's going to bring up a fourth down, though.
That is fourth down, so I do apologize for being a little scatterbrained right there. So the North had something going, but unfortunately, like a lot of their drives have happened today, they're going to have to give it up. So Stokes back there, and it looks like Marcus Dean out of Mira Mesa. And a decent punt, and it will go out of bounds depending on where they spot it. Looks like the 30. He's still walking. I love this. This is my favorite thing in football. And he gets to the 36, 37. And if you've ever coached and you see that ball go out of bounds, you just watch that official keep walking and walking. You're like, would you please stop?
Hey.
All right, so it is going to be first down for the South. Punt not as effective as we thought it was. They do mark it off at about the 36-yard line. So 9:23 to go, third quarter. There's a ball burned out in that scoreboard. So I'm like, wow, that's a fast-moving third quarter. This will be the first possession for the South here in the second half. And we'll go back to Steel Canyon's Nathan Barnett at quarterback. That is Stokes with the ball around the right-hand side. And just not a lot of running room. He's going to get 2.5, 3 yards there. But these plays, the sweeps and things like that, the jet action, they're just not getting a lot of movement and fooling a lot of people defensively.
Sega, Campbell, a host of North defenders. We're seeing a lot of this right now.
You know, the thing is both offenses have found guys in the middle of the field when they've passed the ball. They've gotten those guys underneath, and we've seen very few plays of that, but they've been pretty successful. So we'll see if they go back to something in the pass game. They actually gave him no gain on that. It'll be second down. They'll go back the other way, and once again, well defended.
That was brilliant. Michael Stearns, the Torrey Pines linebacker, 5'10", 180, and talk about reading the play. I think he had a copy of the playbook.
So the South shows that they can move backwards too, and third down, and 29 to go. No, not that many. Let's see. Ball is on the 29. I'm not good at math. We got about 18, 20 yards to go here for them.
Now, see, this is a great spot where, Barnett was able to make something happen in the regular season against, teams of equal ilk. But here you're dealing against an elite defense.
And there's literally nothing about that play that worked except for that. They did make something out of nothing. Javel Brown getting back to the original line of scrimmage, but that'll bring up fourth down. They're setting up that screen, and at least I hope that was a screen, Ramon, because literally there was nobody present except for the entire North defensive line. So fourth down, and Ryan Sanborn to punt again.
Quinn Roth ended up making the stop on that.
Tarango, Joseph Tarango out of Central. And Thaddeus Campbell out of Central, both two Central folks back there to try to return this punt. They'll let it bounce. Campbell might try to play it off the carpet, but got to get away. It may have hit a North player. The South indicates that it did hit a North player. I don't know if the officials saw that, and I don't know if that's something we can see.
Camera 1 and 2, make sure you're following the shot.
We did promise some instant replays. We'll get some. We've had a few.
No, they're going to let the North keep this ball.
It's probably not a bad idea in terms of All-Stars games go, but it's hard to see. We're on a little bit delay than you are at home, so we can actually see it. But it did look like it hit him, and but that's one of those things you got to get away. Everybody knows it, but unfortunately for him, he did not get away. But it didn't hurt him, as they didn't give him the ball, and that first down play goes for a couple. And actually just a little less than a couple, maybe one, and it'll be 2nd down and 9.
Javarian Thornton was there again to make a shoestring tackle. Hastings, he's got Richardson back there with him. It's a quick out to the left side, complete.
That will be a first down. So far, the North has not enjoyed a lot of prosperity. We'll see if that little momentum can build off a play like that. They seem pretty fired up on that sideline.
I think both teams working those outside screens. This might be the way to go. Dane Olson there with the catch and
I'd
run.
still like to see him go back to Washington. They had success finding their tight end late in the second half. They can get some stuff down the middle as well. It's about also finding the time and being able to see, because both defenses have been able to apply pressure to the quarterback pretty significantly in this game so far. And the stadium light's starting to come on, getting a little dusk out there, and they're going to go end around, flip it around, and back. and a lot of excitement there for not a lot of gain, but I'll give them a 7 or 8 out of 10 on creativity.
Yeah, flea flicker then ends up being a short screen pass to Dane Olson, and didn't get much out of it. But you know, they're going to work in some wrinkles in an all-star game, but usually you expect a home run attempt on that.
Yeah, I think they were just happy to not turn it over in that play, and it'll bring up it'll bring up another down here. We'll see what the North can do with it. So 2nd and 11 for the North. Quick pass is caught, and give him a little something to work with here on 3rd down, as he picked up about 4, and that was Beecham on the reception. And once again, you got number 81, Jaden Washington. They list him at 6'3". He seems a lot taller from this distance. Just lining him up the slot. Throw him a pop pass. Throw him something quick. He's a big target, and he's held on to every ball that's been thrown to him.
John, if you climb right up this ladder, they're calling some plays. They're calling sending some information down.
We'll see what they do here on 3rd down. A little bit of pressure coming from the outside. He unloads it. He's got his receiver, but incomplete. And even if Beecham could have got there, I don't think Marcus Dean was going to let him catch that. Marcus Dean has been like Velcro today. He's done a fantastic job. A lot of guys impressing me out there, but from a defensive coverage standpoint and who he's matching up with, I'll tell you what, he's been fun to watch.
The South is winning. It's been a defensive game. We talked about it with Maffey at halftime so far. Thornton and Dean, they've been the best players in the game.
I would tend to agree with you on that. So another punt opportunity here for the South. Or excuse me, the North. And Marcus Dean trying to make something here. He got back to about where he caught it. It was exciting.
Just a whole lot of speed on defense and special teams, but I just making a point about why the defenses are dominating so well. I mean, it's tough to, put in these offenses. When they used to do the Spanos game, especially in the summer, they would run as many as 6 or 7 practices. Here, 4 practices,
Sure.
Really was 3.5.
Well, and the other thing, too, is typically in the normal progression of as a team comes together, defense is always not easier, but the first to show some signs of strength. And I remember sitting in many practices trying to develop an offensive line, and you had the defensive coordinator over there, high-fiving himself because he was calling such great defensive plays in a practice. It's just because your offense wasn't there. And that O-line is a bunch of individuals that are being asked to play, in one with brand new plays. So we're going to get some trickeration on the other side. We'll see if they have any more success. This is Stokes around the right-hand side. Stokes, the toss and incomplete, almost intercepted.
Yeah, Linguadaca was there on the coverage, and I don't think the play had a chance to work, but given the nature of this game so far, it sure brought a little bit of a thrill. It was kind of a 50-50 ball, but Linguadaca was there.
And unfortunately, Stokes is going to come off the field, and he's jogging off the field, but it looks like he a little worse for wear, trading paint on that play. So this will bring up second down. Although I do like that call on first down, keep them guessing. Both teams trying to show some tricks, and we're down to 3:54 in the third quarter.
Took a while for Stokes to get the pass off, but it was definitely an intended pass. He was thinking about running, though.
Yep. And that is more North defense dominance as Barnett goes down for a significant loss. It'll be third down and probably 17 yards to go.
Michael Stearns wrapped him up there, and what happened? It looked like Barnett maybe lost the handle a little bit. He was trying to throw the only thing that's really been working and why there's been so many completions, just a short pass, but it's like he couldn't get out of his hand, and by that time the pressure was there again.
It's interesting. We have not seen the South go back to using their quarterbacks, trying to take off and run a little bit. I haven't seen even a lot of read option or anything like that. We did see that a little bit in the early series, and this is a floater. This is up for grabs, and it will be picked off. Nice job there by the North, and I believe that is Michael Stearns. Was that back at 21, or is that it looked like 21 to me, or is that 31?
Might have been
Lincoln Ingle. It's the numbers roll up, folks. I do apologize. It's hard to see that a little bit, but I saw either a 21 or a 31 on that interception. We'll consult the replay if we can.
That was Luke Kay, number 20. Let's see.
All right, we're back to live action.
Yeah, Stearns got it.
And they'll go back to the run, a rare run that we've seen. Big stumbling, rumbling there by the North. And that was Dorian Richardson on the carry. I'll tell you what, Dorian Richardson, we talked about his impressive yards, but he's just, I love the fact that he's wearing number 33. He is a big looking back from the press box here.
No, he's definitely a thick back. He'd really just run through the line a lot of times, and what a career he had. He was a Silver Pigskin finalist this year.
So second down after the nice gain there by Richardson. Pass is complete. The North starting to warm up. A reception there by Kyron Beecham. Miles Hastings on the pass, and they'll move the chains. The ball inside the 30, now down to the 28-yard line.
Wrapped up there by McCurdy again, but the South going to start to feel a little bit of pressure defensively because the North keeps getting down here a little bit and keep threatening, and eventually they're going to get in.
We'll see if they pepper this drive some more with some runs with Richardson, because it's a nice thing to pick up 3, 4, 5 yards on first down. It just sets the table nicely. And they will go back to Richardson. Of course, I say that. This time the South was ready for him. He got about a yard on the play. Bring up second down and 9. That clock down to 1:45 here in the third quarter.
Tackle by Noah Medeiros. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed maybe that we haven't seen Richardson enough. In an all-star game, you're not going to give it to your back 20 times, but the way the pursuit is happening, you just wonder if they're just gunning and gunning and gunning, and if they can get it to the back quicker, maybe hit the hole and maybe can spring something. And I'm also concerned for the South that one of these outs might result in something.
Hastings rolling to his right. He's got a man in the end zone. If he can find him, he throws it up, and it'll be just out of bounds. But Herculean effort to get that ball. The intended receiver was Dylan York. He saw it, but it's hard to roll anyway, right or left. But in this case, he was rolling to his dominant hand, but to get those hips turned, it was difficult.
Yeah, well, it looked like he might have had the option to pass it and maybe had his man a little earlier, but maybe he was waiting for the route to develop, but by that time, the coverage had closed in.
So third down, minute 12, third quarter. They got to get to the 18-yard line to get that first down. And they'll go direct snap, either on purpose or by accident, but Richardson will get just basically a whole lot of nothing right there. They'll bring up fourth down. Now, I'm going to assume that was a called play, but they sold it well. How's that?
bring out Mancini again. I mean, this game could come down to a field goal. And we got two guys who can definitely do it.
Okay, kick is up, and it's got a lot of firepower behind it. And it is good. Make it 7-6.
Two great kickers here today. You might remember back in, I will date you a little bit, back in 2012 in Fallbrook's, Ryan Blackmeyer had a 23-yard field goal to help the North win 16-13. I was looking back also, John. Well, I saved this one for you. An interesting game was back in 2013. The South won. It was an interesting game, 41-7. But get this, you'll remember Ramsey Romano.
Oh yeah,
he threw 2 touchdown passes in that game.
Yeah, Ramsey Romano was fun. He was one of the first quarterbacks we followed on Orange Nation TV. Of course, Valhalla, great. We had a nice run of Valhalla quarterbacks at that time, from Pete Thomas, Ramsey Romano, and I'm going to forget a few in between. But I'll tell you what, that was a solid era of Orange Nation football. All right, so 7-6, 24 seconds left to go in the third quarter. The South has not done much since that opening drive. We'll see if we see Puka Stewart back on the field, or who may be doing what. It'll all happen after Mancini's kick. Very deep kick by Mancini. He's showing his leg. There's more than one kicker here this afternoon, and he's also done a very nice job. So they will set up shop. And the South offense will trot out there. And they got weapons. We talked about the fact that they felt like they had a significant speed advantage, and actually they will trot out Barnett as quarterback again. Kenneth Watson as well with him, and they'll go to Brown. And Brown will get a nice gain there on first down. Javel Brown out of Mira Mesa.
Yeah, tackle made there by Carson Drake. He's a player that we really anticipated seeing. He also had some big plays back in the first quarter. And, he had a USD home visit earlier this week. The young man out of Santa Fe Christian, known for a lot for his work on the offensive line, but playing great defense here today.
And that's the end of the third quarter, 7-6. South clinging to that 1-point lead. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with the exciting conclusion of the 29th Alex Spanos All-Star Classic.
For the North team, they have had 1 interception and 3 sacks. With this movement, I think that they can come back and tie the game up. They're only 1 point behind, and yeah, this has been your third quarter update. Take it back to you. Okay. That's the shortest one, right?
All right, so we're ready to start things back up again here in the fourth quarter. Second down for the South. And he keeps it around the right-hand side, and he will be right. Oh, tiptoe down the sideline. He looked like he was going to be out just shy of the first down, but he kept his balance. We'll see where they spot it. Maybe he touched a little white. We'll find out.
Yeah, spotting it at the 33-yard line for a first down.
Nathan Barnett showing his legs. And as I mentioned, when you have athletic running quarterbacks, it's hopefully you can showcase them. Of course, the North's defense have kept them pretty much in check, but you'd think maybe they could bust a long run here or there. And we have not seen Puka Stewart in many series going back into the second half. In the last series, I think he led, but we'll see if he gets some more reps down the road. That is a completed pass, Albert Lemon.
First we've seen really from Lemon receiving the ball. touch on what I was talking about earlier with Nathan Barnett. You know, he played his junior year in New Jersey, and when he was looking, he knew he was coming to California, and he was actually looking for different programs to join, and he looked at Steel Canyon, saw that they were a state champion, saw they lost a great quarterback, and thought he might fill that role, and I think he's done a great job this season doing that.
And they'll go up the middle for a few with Javelle Brown. And this will be third down. All right. We've seen a lot of third downs here today. Significant distances. This one not as bad as some of the previous third downs we've seen. So
coaching staff yelling, "Punt team, be ready." I think they're ready.
All right, third down here. About 7 to go. Barnett with pressure, and he runs right into that pressure. He stays on his feet, and incomplete. He tried desperately to get that out to Kenneth Watson, but man, he took a hit but kept his legs.
Wow. Yeah, I thought the play was over when the contact occurred.
And that was
somehow kind of slipped out of it, and he was still having his leg tugged on when he let go of the ball.
I think that was Logo, if I'm saying that correctly, on the pressure. Came around, had a good, clean stick on him, but he kept his feet. So they'll punt.
A punt, you say?
Yeah, Campbell and Tarango back to return, and they'll move him back some more. We've seen this a couple of times when Sanborn comes in to punt because of his very well-known leg. Beautiful punt, end over end, taken at the 20-yard line. This is Campbell. Campbell's got a seam. Campbell to the 30, 35-40, 45-50 into the 40, 35-30, and out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. And that's that little spark coming off special teams.
And leave it to the Central High Spartan to bring a spark to this game. We had to bring him in from the desert.
Absolutely. And I almost said into Norseman territory. That's why I stopped. But easily the most exciting play of the second half, and maybe since the first drive. So good stuff right there with 10:06. The North looking strong here. Good field position.
Great special teams play there by Campbell. He's known for his work as a defensive back. 20 career interceptions for the Spartans, including 9 this season. And Central, what a season they had.
Ramon, this is why you're here today. That is good information that people at home, I'm sure, are happy to hear about. Back to the wing tee look they go. And this is Mateo Sinowing. He'll get a number of yards there on first down. Of course, we have Michael Linguandaka back in at quarterback when they go this look.
Yeah, sure. I know we want to showcase Miles, but in a situation like this, in an all-star game, you want to maybe you want to have Linguandaka in there and give him that that wing tee look, because that's a look that is more difficult to discern.
It's hard to prepare for that offense, and once again, all-star game, but. The only thing I would say is when you have that many pulling guards, which a lot of these guys may not be used to doing, that can create gaps for the defense, and they'll go back to the ground. I believe this is Richardson. It is Richardson, and he'll be real close to a first down, about a yard, maybe a yard short. It's hard to see which one's going to get the official spot on here. There's a big pile, and once again, we're facing third down. Another opportunity for the North. Do they have to kick a field goal again, or are they going to punch this in?
Everybody remember that Richardson scored that 8 touchdowns in one game. He also had a 7-touchdown game once. Imagine.
I can't.
8 touchdowns. He had 8 touchdowns in one game. We're trying to get in the end zone here, folks.
Back to that wing tee look here on third down. And they'll roll. And that is Richardson. He's got the first down and a bit more down to the 10-yard line. North knocking on the door.
Oh, you had to like how Richardson kind of bounced around the tackle there. I mean, he looks more like a straight-ahead runner, but he got shifty.
He is. I tell you what, that's a guy that, you can't coach size. I think he's probably got to be hard to bring down. He's not super tall, so he's probably hard to see when they run these sets.
Got tree trunks for legs.
Very powerful. So they spot that ball. It is a first down. It's on the 13-yard line. Lingwindaka will roll to his right. Little option play here. And that is Galuzzi around the right-hand side. And see where he went out of bounds. And they will mark him out at the 7-yard line. Two things that I just loved in that. I love seeing a quarterback under center. I'm sorry, I'm old. I like seeing those things. I love the option. It's tough. When you do that little counter option, roll to your and get that pitch, and they get a nice solid carry or gain there on first down.
And the flow is just working better right now for the North. This is the best flow we've seen from any offense so far.
Lingwindaka. And that is a bobbled snap. So here I talk about how much I like that, and then they bobbled the snap.
There's a flag on the play.
And I think it's probably as a result of that. I think there was a movement ahead of time and whole kind of mess. And we've seen this a few times where it gets some positive mo, and that flag comes in. And this time, though, it looks like it will go against the South. So this will work in the favor of the North, and they'll keep that drive going. 8 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Probably the one thing that we have not mastered for this broadcast is our running clock. It actually requires a little bit of programming, so it's no built-in app for that, so we do apologize. I'll keep you updated on that time. Once again, 8 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
This is the most dramatic point of the game so far, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say so. Okay, so Dorian Richardson will power ahead.
That was Steel Canyon's Billy Tellis leading the stop there. Billy's a great baseball player as well for the Steel Canyon Cougars.
And that's, in talking to him, that was the thing. You know, he has interest in playing next level, either football or baseball, and I don't know which way he's leaning. I don't know if you've talked to him.
It's funny, you know, he's got such outstanding feet, and he plays a lot of first base, and he really is good defensively around the bag.
So first down, this is the best position that the South or North has been in, and they'll go around the end. Torrey Pines powering the way into for their head coach, and that is a touchdown by Evan Galuzzi. And the first time today, the North is ahead.
And I think that's what you're waiting for, a little bit of misdirection, if anything, in an all-star format, just to kind of create some confusion, create some looks they haven't seen. And this situation has worked for the North. We're finally in the end zone once again.
So 12-7, 7:35, plenty of time. But I'll tell you what, we haven't seen a ton out of the South offensively in quite some time. So, you know is this the, it's only a 5-point deficit, but considering what we've seen in an all-star offense, it may be enough for the North to hold on. We'll see.
Yep.
And they will go for two. And they actually switch back with Miles Hastings at quarterback in this position. And he'll throw. He's got the slant, and it's a completed pass, and that is a good 2-point conversion. And
to our man, Kyron Beecham.
So Beecham gets a reception for the 2-point conversion. We're at 14-7 with 7:35 to go. Now, I haven't looked at all the streaks or who's won more than the other, but who's had the edge over the years? Is there a real definable edge between the North and the South?
Yeah, it's the perception is the North is always going to be stronger. In fact, there's been some talk. One of the high school football shows on TV, hint, hint, said, hey, maybe they should switch it to an east-west. That's not what it's about in San Diego. No. It's about North and South. The North County, the great powers of the North County. The rest of the county, that's South.
Yeah.
Okay? But it's 13-11 North.
Yeah. And
all-time series, 13-11. So.
Well, and I can talk more about that after this kick. Mancini's kick, a deep one, and it will not be returnable. But if you look at CIF divisions and who finishes where, you can talk about on average maybe the average North team is better than the average everywhere else team. But, you start throwing around the Helixes of the past, Steel Canyon winning the state championship in their division. You throw in East Lakes. I mean, I could just keep going. I mean, there's talent other places, and that is very clear when you see these games on Friday night.
when this game continues, I say when this game continues, I'm talking about next year, number 30, and the years to come, this is the format they should keep.
Sure, I agree. So we'll see if the South can respond now, trailing for the first time, 14-7, 7:35 to go. And Stewart, I believe, back in at quarterback. And they'll go to the ground, Stewart on the keeper, and he'll get out across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. We'll see where they spot that, but about 22-yard line.
Yeah, the South has a deep threat in Madison Highs, Daniel Stokes. Try to get the ball to Stokes. Maybe they got to try to work some of that outside of the numbers a little bit. That seemed to work earlier. Like I said at halftime, I mean, the completion percentage was very, very high in the first half for the South, completing 6 of 7 passes and 88 yards. That not too bad, really.
They'll go to the run, and it's met by a whole bunch of North defenders. Leading the way was Quinn Roth.
Yeah, that's Quinn Roth right there, first team All-CIF. I mean, we talked about the 16.5 sacks, 6'2", 210, the San Marcos great, Quinn Roth.
So third down.
Loss of play from the 19-yard line. Loss of 4, 3rd and 11.
They got to get to the 30-yard line if they want to keep this drive going. Puka Stewart will use his legs. Nifty move, changes direction, but the defenders will pull him down, and he will get, after all of that, either lost a yard or back to the line of scrimmage.
John, that's going to work in a league game in October.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not going to work in an all-star game with the elite defenders.
Well, it's also really important, too, and I think you point out when you talk about elite defenders, they all kept their positioning. They broke down and they stopped. They weren't running and chasing. They were keeping him hemmed in. They knew he had to get a lot of ground.
You're not going to be able to run like an electric football man.
Sure.
That's dating us a little bit.
Or Tecmo Bowl or any of that kind of stuff. So the North will get the ball back here after this punt. With momentum firmly in the North's pocket. They'll call for the fair catch, and they get away from it.
Whoa.
One called for the fair catch, and the other one grabbed
it.
No
flag.
No flag on that. That was Joseph Tarango, who decided to try to grab it and go, but there is the flag.
Okay, someone did recognize it.
Yep.
You know, there's a difference between putting your hand above your head and making a slashing point off you. I'm showing it to you, John, where it looks like an incomplete pass, and you're saying get away.
Yeah.
So, but I think, yeah, the deep back.
So we'll do
called for a fair catch.
At the completion of this game, if everything is still running correctly, we'll have the trophy presentation. Of course, the beautiful trophy goes to the winning team. And due to rendering time, probably a few minutes after the conclusion of this game, you should be able to watch it on our YouTube channel. You can watch it all afternoon. Send the link to your grandma. I mean, it would make a great Christmas gift, you know.
I shared it with all my Facebook friends.
There you go.
John, now we got to start thinking about maybe possible MVPs for the North side. And although they got that touchdown, and that was a nice situation, that punt return by Campbell was such a big play.
Well, I'd like to see what factor Richardson's going to be in this game going down the stretch. To see if he can pound it away. Of course, I say that, they go back to the air, and that's picked off. They probably should have ran the ball with Richardson and make him pay the other way.
And who is it?
It is absolutely Marcus Dean. Make it.
Let's see, I think it was Thornton. Is it Thornton or Dean?
Actually,
Thornton.
It is Thornton, yes.
Wow, what a game Thornton's had. And you know, it's an all-star game, so I'm going to give them I'm going to cut them some slack for going to the air. I mean, that's a situation where if we were in a football game, if you will, we were going to run the football.
So I want you
5
to do
minutes
something.
left. We should have went for some ball control.
Tomorrow during the middle of the afternoon, feel free to text me, get glasses, because I'll tell you what.
Now,
I can't see a number to save my life. I do apologize. So first down.
These jerseys are cool. They do have this weird kind of,
it's a cummerbund
fade at the end.
Yeah,
you see there.
It looks like half shirts. They're very nice, though.
Yeah, when the kids were getting them on Thursday night, they were all excited. They loved them.
And they should. Now, it's exciting. Down a touchdown, a breathe new air into the life of the South. And let's see if they can do something with this good field position starting on the 45-yard line. Stewart rolling, got pressure. He's going to have to unload it. And actually, I take that back. They switched it back to Barnett. That was Barnett as the quarterback.
Yeah. And that's what he does so well, is extending the play. Well, now
and we're going to get a flag in the and they'll say intentional grounding.
Yeah. That's what he's great at, is extending the play, but he does take off running a lot. No one was in the vicinity.
While we mark off that territory, send out a couple of thank yous as well to Tony's Giant Pizzeria, as we mentioned. Fed our entire crew today, so if you're in the Claremont area, Tony's Giant Pizzeria, 4973 Diane Avenue. Really appreciate Saad Mattia giving us some amazing pizza today. I want to thank you for joining us as well at home, watching, and really good solid viewership today, and we appreciate that. And hats off to these kids. Playing hard. Most of them have finals next week, and coaching staffs taking the time to coach in this game, of course. And that will be a completed pass and brought down. Couldn't get much.
Barnett to Watson again.
Yeah, and Luke Armstrong on the tackle. He did a solid job of making that gain as minimal as possible.
It's really the only option open for the South. I mean, Barnett's going through his reads. They're just not there.
And let's definitely give credit where credit's due to the San Diego High School Sports Association, the group of people that organize this, and they do stuff all year. This is their primary fundraiser for all the amazing things that they do.
This is their main fundraiser.
It's fun to be able to be a part of that and help bring more awareness to this great game and just great organization. Out across the 30 before he's brought down. That is Kenneth Watson. There's a flag after the play.
Yeah.
And that's going to give the South a first down. That clock at 4 minutes, 11 seconds.
Marcus Dean has had a great night, but they didn't need to rough him up, on the white.
So they'll march off 15 yards, and that should put that
I think they were looking to put a bit of an exclamation point on it.
And unfortunately for them, that will continue the South's drive, and they'll put that ball on the 47-yard line. So we're actually kind of about back where they started, and after the interception. But actually, that was not enough. So it'll still be fourth down. I thought that was an automatic first down, but I guess not. So they'll say 4th and 8. Okay, so 4th and 8 with 4:11 to go. He's got a receiver out there. He's got a man. And good attempt, but just could not bring it in. Tiptoeing that sideline, just couldn't get enough elevation to bring it in.
Tried to get it to Casey Grandforth, and he's a man that, they've wanted to try to run that play all day. I'm surprised they haven't tried more shots with him. He's so good at going up and high pointing the ball, and he had an opportunity there, but it was great coverage.
So turnover on downs. Now it'll be interesting to see with 4 minutes. I had called for, ordered up some Richardson running the clock here a little bit, and they went to the air and threw that interception. It'll be interesting to see what they have. It looks like Michael Lingwandaka is back out there, so we'll probably see some more wing T looks and a little bit more power football to maybe try to wind out the 29th Spanos All-Star Classic. And that's what's the beautiful thing about that offense. You hand right off to that fullback, and Mateo powers through that line for 5 yards, and you get that clock rolling.
Yeah, when the North made that stop, the fans kind of got excited over them and started chanting defense. I don't think we've ever heard a chant for offense the way they did in this game.
Yeah. So second down here for the North. Clock rolls under 3:25 to go here in the fourth quarter. This is Beecham. Beecham will be close to a first down, probably about a yard and a half short. And if you joined late, the South started off on fire, went right down the field, scored a touchdown. then it was pretty much defense, and got a field goal before the half, the North did. They get another field goal in the second half, and then, of course, get the touchdown, the 2-point conversion to make it 14-7.
You mentioned the size of Washington on the end, and he's the one that powered open that hole.
So third down. They'll go back to the ground game. He'll have, we'll see where he spots it. It looked like he was going to easily get that first down, but he was brought down right about the spot. So we'll see, and they'll move those chains. That is a first down for the North.
That was Mateo Sonoy getting a carry here.
And I'll tell you what, you always see a lot of good Valley Center players, every year. A good, strong program up there, and just good to see another Valley Center player.
They probably play, for some reason, the most exciting games.
Yeah.
I know when our East teams go up there, it's tough to play up there.
Yep.
And they've had some thrillers.
Clock approaching 2:10. So we'll go a little double tight here, double wing, and they'll send that wing in motion. They'll do a little reverse pitch. And they got stuff going now. That one's a tough one to stop as well. And good gain there by Luke Armstrong out of Carlsbad.
Bryce Ruppel made the stop out of Christian High. Under 2 minutes. Start exercising these timeouts.
We'll take a timeout with them just to catch our breath as we get ready for the exciting conclusion. 1:43 to go here in the Spanos Classic.
Take care of that Maris card.
You know, John, unlike the other All-Star games, we talked about as many as 7 All-Star games. This is really the only one where the players don't pay to participate.
Sure.
Those other ones, they're nominated. They're all great All-Star games, especially next week. The SDFNL, great at placing Division II guys. But really, this is the one that, you wear the Charger pants. By the way, they got to turn in those Charger pants in order to get their Alex Spanos Classic T-shirt.
Right.
Okay,
that's right. So second down. They run the same type of offense, but out of the shotgun. And he'll be actually brought down a little short of the first down. That was number 5. That was Galuzzi on the carry. I want to send out some other big credit here. So we had Trevor Showers, Natalie Siliuson, and Jonathan Petrus running the computer today. They are producing, directing. Very complex piece of machinery that they're running. It's called a TriCaster. We had Richard Green and Calvin Angleton running the main camera today, so that was our primary shot that we went back to. Of course, we had Tony and Rachel Fukuri running an additional camera. And shout-outs to Nate Polite and Alex McClung, who are our sideline reporters and did our pregame. And Kayla and Ashley also running cameras, getting B-roll. And, of course, Caleb Howard running and getting B-roll. And it's a little colder than when it started, so a lot of my camera kids that are out there getting B-roll are now kind of bundled up looking at me like, is the game over? We will cover it till the very end.
When we had Nate at practice the other night, he was shivering interviewing those big guys.
I'll tell you what, we're in the booth, so we're out of the elements, although I shudder to say that there's really elements when it's 60 degrees. But there's 1:29 to go when we snap this ball. The South, I believe, have used 2 of their 3 timeouts. They have 1 more to go. It is third down in just a short distance, and see if they can get that stop. And Richardson right up the middle.
Who else are you going to do it with?
With passion, with power, and that should do it in terms of any chance the South have. They maybe burn 1 more timeout if they have it, which maybe they don't have one.
You mentioned your great staff of students, John. I wish I could, turn back the clock 35 years and have all this technology.
Well, and that's a big thank you to CTE, our district, Grossmont School District, CTE, Career Technical Education, well-funded. They do a great job, those people, making sure our kids have the best stuff. Jimmy Johnson, the race car driver, we received that grant and got a lot of equipment from that foundation. So thank you to the Jimmy Johnson Foundation. Get a flag there, but this doesn't happen by accident. You can't go out and sell cupcakes to get cameras. You'd have to sell a lot. And TriCaster goes about $10,000. And but it started as a club in 2012, became a program just 3 years ago. Just proud of what these kids have done.
I think your program there, John, and also I've worked with Carl Danielson, those folks over at Granite Hills. These are setting the standards for what kids are doing today, and they're just learning so much so fast with these computers in their hands.
Yep.
And they're going to be, I imagine, in just a few years, several schools will be doing their own games.
And I want to send a shout out to Jack, Mitchell, and Cora at home watching this game. Dad's about a minute left to broadcast, and they'll be packing up and heading on home. Hope you're doing well. Another handoff here. Another good carry by Mateo Sonoy.
These kids will still remember this night. In fact, several coaches on both teams have actually played in the Alex Spanos All-Star game. Under a minute.
And the clock will continue to wind. And I hear a cowbell. Now, I'll tell you what, I've not heard a cowbell all afternoon. This is the last time out here. But I hadn't heard a cowbell all afternoon. And you probably couldn't even hear it at home, but I thought I was immediately at an SEC game. You hear a lot of cowbells down there. But 39 seconds, as you mentioned. What do you take away from this, other than an all-star game, good sportsmanship, good kids out there playing hard? Anything that stood out particularly to you?
Well, obviously the defense of both sides. And I don't think there's anything you can do to stipulate the rules a little bit. I mean, I think it's already made for the offense, but I just think we've saw such superior defensive players out on the field today.
And once again, more credit where credit's due. The High School Sports Association of San Diego, fantastic organization. They do so much behind the scenes. They're giving out awards, holding banquets, doing things for not just football, but all the sports. Well, every sport that's in this county, they are honoring. They
have a volleyball all-star game. They have awards presentations. And again, this is their biggest fundraiser. We're in victory. Are we in victory formation or is there a stoppage?
That was the end of the game. The final seconds will tick off. Congratulations to the North winning the 29th Alex Spanos All-Star Game. And we are going to attempt to get the trophy presentation here in about 20 seconds as the players will start to make their way to the middle of the field. So our roving reporters will try not to get run over. We want to thank you for watching here on OrangeNationTV.com. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring this game. Thank my students and thank everybody that made this game possible. Thanks to all the parents, grandparents who helped support these players. Best of luck to every guy out there that put on pads today. Hats off to these coaches. I'm sure they had a lot of fun. It was just a very fun experience being a part of this. And we'll see some MVPs coming our way once hopefully they'll let us know. And there's a shot at the handshakes. Of course, they had a banquet just on Thursday night. And I think we may have lost our signal on our, but we'll get you those MVPs as we're trying to figure that out. Okay, it sounds like we have two MVPs, and I'll let you announce them, but I will ruin the surprise. They're both playing defense today. Surprise.
And a guy we saw a lot of today, John, doing a great job for Torrey Pines. Leo Butters Spidell, the 5'10", 255-pound Falcon. He's the most valuable player for the North. Fittingly, a lineman gets the most valuable player. And for the South, Josh McCurdy got the most valuable player award. The linebacker out of Eastlake, the first team all-CIF performer, and the PPR's defensive player of the year. So Spidell for the North and McCurdy for the South are your MVPs of the 29th Alex Spanos All-Star Classic.
Well, we'll keep those cameras rolling until they take that trophy out, and if we can follow with one of our multiple cameras we got on that trophy, maybe get our producer to alert them to take that trophy out. This would be a nice shot to follow.
Great trophy on the side. Each little placard has the score.
So they're following it out to the team, and we'll just describe it like it's radio. We're still trying to find the trophy on the field. Once again, it is a classroom. We're working as a classroom right now, and we'll get you some sort of framed up shot. I think my students thought the game was over for them as well. And there's a good shot of the presentation. Congratulations to the North. Coach Gladnick and his crew. Fabulous job. And people starting to disassemble things. Sorry for the loud noise. But once again, congratulations to both teams and both coaching staffs. Once again, on the behalf of Orange Nation TV, part of the Saga Network from Valhalla High School, Ramon Scott, myself, John Owens, and all the crew here, we want to thank you for watching, and we hope you have a fun and safe evening. Share this link with as many people as you can. Relive these moments, and we'll see you on another broadcast on OrangeNationTV.com.